Bronyville. This is episode 48, recorded on Saturday, March 31st, 2012. I am your host, Apple Cider. I'm sorry. At first, you probably thought he totally just got kicked in the balls, but no, this is actually Starry Night, and this is going to be an all-girl takeover show.
Friendship is for ladies.
These are my ladies. I have with me tonight a returning champion, Raichu.
Yay.
And I have two new guests. I have with me my good friend, Mags.
Well, hello there.
And Eliza, who also goes by OMG WTF LOLs.
Yo.
These are all my Brony ladies.
Ladies in the house.
Except minus one person. This is my usual lady Brony group. So yeah, we're going to do a show for you today. I know you guys complain about how I don't talk enough, so shut the F up.
No longer in the background, yo.
This is a whole show with me and a whole bunch of other girls, okay?
Well, people asked for it.
They asked for it, here it is.
And they got it.
This is it. Alright, so we're going to start off doing the usual favorite characters, favorite episodes. I know I probably mentioned it before, but I am a Fluttershy fan. With Luna close in second. Raichu, I'm sure she's mentioned it twice already, but
But you only heard it once. So.
That's right, you only heard it once.
You the leader of podcasts.
I'm sorry, I have a terrible
Destroyer
cutie
of worlds.
Yeah, her cutie mark is destroying podcasts. But, just to recap, Raichu, what is your favorite pony?
It could be also still Fluttershy.
Yeah, Fluttershy. Mags, favorite pony?
I have to say, like in a theoretical kind of way, it's Scootaloo. She's like the embodiment of human hope. You know? But like as a Southernerite, I definitely like to say AJ. You know, we're judgmental, honest, and hardworking.
I'd buck that.
Oh, yeah.
Eliza, favorite pony?
I have a main six favorite pony, and I have a non-main six favorite pony. So, I
look at
dare
you all
go
being
against
specific.
the mainstream.
I like the way you subdivide.
I do subdivide. I shouldn't. I'm a fair and
I like
equal
your
opportunity.
hierarchical organization there.
Favorite pony?
My favorite pony, who pones with the felt, is my girl Pinkie Pie, with the big check.
Woo woo.
I gotta hand her. She reminds me of me on crack. No, on sugar. No, just myself. She reminds me of me.
You drunk's pretty Pinkie Pie.
Yeah, I have to agree
Yes.
with that one.
And my favorite... Sorry, I'm laughing at this because I love Daring Do. Daring Do. And I think ever since that episode of Read and Weep, I just fell in love with this character. I love Indiana Jones.
Do you read any of the fanfic? The Daring Do fanfics?
Girl, I don't read fanfic.
Oh, right, yeah.
Excuse me, but I make ponies. I don't read about ponies. I watch ponies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You missed the snapping, you guys.
Girls, leave the cat fights off the air.
But it's fun.
No.
Yeah, it's fun. No, I like Daring Do. One of my favorite customs I ever made was Daring Do, and that was the one I got signed by Jason Thiessen. So,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, that's why she's my favorite. Favorite.
Okay, moving on. Favorite episode. For me, Luna Eclipsed is my new favorite episode. I don't even remember what my last favorite episode was. But Luna Eclipse, because, oh my god, they brought Princess Luna back, and that episode was so freaking awesome.
It's the episode I usually use to introduce new people. And they're like, oh, My Little Pony? You like My Little Pony? I'm
Yes,
like,
I do.
hold on, you got 20 minutes? Come on. You got 20
yeah.
minutes? If you don't like it, you can make fun of me, you know? But
I agree, that would be a good introductory episode. Moving on to my girl, Raichu.
It's really boring to follow you because my favorite is still Luna Eclipse, but I said it first, so
Copycat.
Oh, whatever. Just
She
because you were
copyrighted
on
that.
the show
Ladies,
for me.
break it up. Break it up. I don't want to have to
some
get in
Jerry
the middle.
Springer in here. Yeah.
I watched the live stream, so I saw it before you, so it was my favorite first.
She pwned you. Pinkie Pie style.
Oh, whatever. Okay.
Yay.
Excuse me.
You!
I gotta remember I'm on. I gotta remember I'm being recorded.
We're like 4 minutes in, and M's already like, I hate you.
Already dropping
I'm
the
sorry,
F-bombs. You're making it
Em.
hard for the editor, man.
so
He's a hard-working
sorry.
It's all. Jeez.
Okay, moving on. Mags.
Never.
Mags.
Oh, I definitely have to go with Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000.
Can you say it 5 times fast?
No.
Why?
Can you sing
Why
the song?
can't I say it 3 times
No.
fast?
Why do you like the episode?
Well,
Girl,
I'm-
stop distracting her.
First of all, your Music Man reference. Excellent use of, the typical episode reference to something outside Pony, which is nice, All right. Bacon-haired Pony conman.
Bacon hair?
Oh, come on, tell me his hair doesn't look like bacon.
Now that you mention it.
Yeah, it
bacon.
does, right? Who doesn't
Bacon
love
bits.
bacon? All
Bacon
right.
bits.
Yeah, episode finally featuring my girl Applejack, and it's the only episode that where the letter to Princess Celestia is about sticking to your guns instead of I changed. It's like, no, I was right the first time.
Yeah, that was
Which is the
nothing.
heart and soul of a Southerner.
I didn't learn nothing.
I didn't learn nothing. Yeah, so my favorite episode.
all right. And Eliza?
Oh my god, I gotta go with Read and Weep.
Why?
Again, Daring Do! I mean, first off, Barking Mad is in this one.
Oh, and that's the one you gave to Jason
Of
Thiessen.
course. Because I remember him talking at AOD. He's like, what's my favorite background pony? Well, I love Pinkie Pie. And then he's like, well, Barking Mad is a great character. So I went home that night and actually made him Barking Mad and gave it to him. So I was like, yay. But also, it's like, inside of the hospital, the craziness inside the hospital.
You know what I think is funny is that somebody finds Derpy Doo offensive, but
Who?
a mentally ill pony. Well, not Derpy Doo, rather. A Derpy. Everybody finds Derpy offensive. There's a whole Save Derpy thing.
But yet they don't find Barking Mad offensive.
right,
It's
yeah,
a
that's
crazy.
not ableist at all.
Scurrilous, yeah.
Oh, wait.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, well, this was referenced in several episodes, so we're not going to cover
Well, I mean, not
that.
just that. Like, I
Oh,
like,
yeah, no, I mean, I just thought it was funny.
But what I love is that it's a fan fiction inside of a cartoon.
It is.
That's not written by a
It's
fan.
a self-insert fan fiction.
Exactly. So,
In the middle of...
so like, if I was actually going to read fan fiction, which I will eventually do someday, it's going to be a Daring Do fan fiction, based on a fan fiction inside of a cartoon.
I just always felt a little bad about Read It and Weep, though, because Twilight's thing is that she has books, so if anybody should have gotten to do a book adventure, it should have been Twilight.
But
And
this
I
is
thought
about the
that's
magic of
shit.
sharing.
No,
That's
but-
too obvious.
But the thing is, like, it's like Rainbow Dash is like the least obvious person who's going to be a nerd. Just like she's the least obvious person to get a hoof pedicure. She's the most unlikely person, pony you expect to do anything, so therefore it makes her more compelling.
But I don't think reading one book series makes you a nerd either. There's a lot of people that were like, oh, I read Harry Potter. And people were like, yay, that's going to get kids reading. And it was like, no, they really just read Harry Potter.
Well, also, if you look at the design of Daring Do, she basically looks like Rainbow Dash personified.
Self-insert.
Right.
Well, not self-insert. I'm not saying she's Mary Sue or Gary
But
Stu
the way
Pony.
that she imagines her is that she's like...
Well, it's like if you read a book, if you're reading Nancy Drew, if you're reading any other character that has a strong female lead, aren't you going to picture yourself as that character? I used to picture myself as Nancy Drew. Like, I'm cool, I have glasses, and I can solve mysteries. That's me. Or I'm the Boxcar Children. I'm one of them, not all
oh
of
my
them.
god, the boxcar.
I love the boxcar children.
Oh my god, memories.
Oh, the Violet. I'm sorry, Em.
Yeah. It's like she is reading. So basically, Daring Do can look like any of them. It could look like Twilight Sparkle, only nerdier, and just design looks like Rainbow Dash. And I'm sure people like me when I say this, but it actually makes me like Rainbow Dash.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
I doubt you do.
I can try.
Well, what's the question?
All right, so we haven't seen, besides the mayor, granted I have a very faulty memory. I will allow that at the beginning of this question. The only other pony I can think of with gray hair and a different color coat is the mayor, and that's because she's supposed to be older. Although apparently, according to the new episode, spoiler alert here, she dyes it. So, does that mean that Daring Do is late era Harrison Ford? Does that mean the Daring Do episode that she read is The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, a movie which we would all prefer rather didn't exist?
But wait, no, but she's supposed to be reading the first book in the series.
Is she? Okay.
Isn't that true? That's the first book in the series.
Oh,
should
right, you're right.
But
But then-
it says it's the first book in the series, but it's the third one on the shelf over, which could technically mean that it's the first one in the series.
Unless-
and there could be prequels
Right,
or
but Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is the fourth in the series.
However, if Twilight Sparkle keeps her books in alphabetical order by subtitle, it could theoretically be the
I bet
third one.
she uses the Dewey Decimal System.
Therefore,
Well,
it
the
could
Dewey
be the
Decimal
first
System would all be in the same place still.
one. Dewey Pony
Right, it would
System.
still allow it to be in
Fiction would
chronological order.
99.5, so...
Right, yeah. You gotta listen to your librarian scientist over here.
Are you saying she lied to get her to read it? No, that's the first book. It's actually the third book. And it's like, it starts in the middle of the adventure. We don't know where she came
Well,
from.
you know,
Does she
Twilight
have a
could
sidekick?
do it. Occasionally authors will write books and then go back and write a prequel.
Right.
Hearn does a lot of that, where the first three books occur in order. They do it
Star
sort of
Wars
like
did
minor
that.
trilogies, and then they've written books about before the. Oh, dude, it's been so long since I've read it, but they do it about the time before, before all the warriors disappeared. So they go back and write. So there may have been some books that were written about pre this or what got Daring Do into adventuring, and they could have been on the first part of the shelf.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, thank you for stealing my question. Appreciate it. Love you.
All right, okay. Well, moving on. The most loaded question. Why do you love the show? I'm not going to answer it because I'm pretty sure I answered it already, so we're going to move it on to Mags.
I love it because it's funny and I like to laugh. And I have these secret dreams of one day being a comedian myself.
I thought your secret dream was to be a bartender.
I have many secret dreams. I'm a complex woman.
I thought you wanted to take over the world.
I could. No, I'm not taking over the world.
You could.
I probably
Later.
could, but later.
Later.
Sounds like a lot of work. I'm kind of lazy.
All right, and Eliza, why do you love the show?
I love the show for two reasons. One, it allows me to do artistic things, and people are happy with my artistic accomplishments, like make ponies, draw ponies, stuff like that. And because it's awesome. It's awesomeness.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Most manly voice on this most girly of shows.
Awesome.
Okay,
Are
so
we going to make that a contest?
No, please.
Yes.
All right.
Apple cider's glare right now.
So then, oh god,
He's tied up right now. He can't do a damn thing.
Yeah, he's a little tied up right now. Okay, so what do others think of said love? I don't care. Mags, go.
When I first started, my roommate gave me some funny looks, but I made him watch a couple episodes with me. He's like, "Oh, well, I do admit that's good, and it's better than the usual girly fare." And then when the pony toys started coming out, and I had a hard time finding Applejack, when he drove home from his job, he would often stop at like 3 of the McDonald's on the way home just so he could find one for me. So, that's about all I care about.
Well, that's very cool.
He's been pretty awesome about it, I have to say.
Okay, and Eliza.
So my boyfriend read about the cartoon on Cartoon Brew, and he got me to watch it with him. So I was kind of shocked that this boy wanted to watch this cartoon. So then I started watching with him. At first I was like, they're not marshmallowy fat ponies like G1. I'm not watching this crap. And then I guess I watched the third episode, and I'm like, you know what, I kind of like it. So ever since then, it's kind of exploded. And my family is so okay with this that my mom is proactively mailing me my old ponies from home in
amazing.
Virginia, like every week. And then she even sends me activity books that she finds in the dollar store. She's like, oh, I happened to be at the dollar store today buying something. I found this activity book I thought you would like. Oh, here's the velvety thing you color with the markers. Have that. Here's a random birthday card I found. This is all for
It's
you
not
and
even
your
your
hobby.
birthday.
No, it's like, here, have some random pony stuff. And then she'll try to describe to me what the pony looks like on the phone when she finds it in the garage. She's like, it's blue with white skin. I don't know which one it is.
Really creepy gems for eyes.
No, it's got a duck on the butt. I don't know what it is. I'm like, just send it. She goes, do you want any clothes with that? I'm like, no, just send a pony.
Just ponies.
So, yeah. And like my boyfriend went from hiding the toys behind his back at the store and pretending we're buying it for our nieces Bonnie and Lyra to we're both racing each other to get to the store
Aw.
to find it, and then he actually stands there and like examines each toy. Like, do we have this one? No, there's a flaw. I don't want that one. Like, it's like this back and forth.
Whispering eyes.
Like, he's a monster now, like with this whole cartoon. But I think I'm more. I think I'm the ruler of it all. I'm owner of Equestria.
The ruler of all toy
So you do make some fantastic customs, so you may have the lead on him in fandom there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it happens that I will buy the toy and try to use it for the toy, like for the custom, and he's like, "But it's a pretty toy. I want to kind of keep it." I'm like, "No, it's mine."
Maybe I want a Twilight Sparkle doll, you guys. Maybe I don't want you to make it into somebody else.
Yeah, I'm like for Christmas Hanukkah, I got him 2 plushes. Like I got him Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, and he got so excited over that.
Having passed out on your couch, I can attest to Fluttershy being very, very soft,
very soothing.
All right.
And then he's like, "You're not jealous, are you, that I have this?" I'm like, maybe.
All right, so I guess we're going to talk about our wonderful sponsor, We Love Fine. They make some of the best pony shirts on the internet, obviously. And if you just mention our discount code, Bronyville10, you get 10% off your next purchase.
And we actually have a second sponsor this time around. Everfree Northwest. This is where we would like you to play the sound clip here and totally just cover whatever I just said, because I don't think I was supposed to say anything.
Go ahead.
None of you will understand why we're laughing.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, he's obviously not going to put this part in.
Come one, come all, come see the great and powerful Trixie! I have come here to tell every pony about an upcoming event of untold grandeur. The event that I speak of is Everfree Northwest, the most amazing brony convention on the West Coast. Obviously, you have not heard of it yet. Only the most wonderful and dazzling ponies like myself know of its existence. At Everfree Northwest, there will be fantastic live music from brony musicians, as well as actual singers from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and maybe a few more surprises as well. So, make sure you join us at the great and powerful Everfree Northwest on August 17th to 19th. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But was there ever any doubt?
All right. So now, on to the news, which I'm going to have no idea about because I haven't actually read any of this.
I've read the first article.
Homework.
Okay, well, at least some of you did the reading, which is good. So I'll just, I'll keep my mouth shut if you would like to start us off.
Okay, well, the first article was obviously linked to, I think, the other day on EQD, which is Bungie Rides a Little Pony. They interviewed one of the MLP clans and played some Halo games with them. So it's been a while since I've played Halo, so I'm not going to talk about the games. But they did interview the fans and asked them, why do they like the show? What's so great about it? Why the community's so big and so loving and so great? And, for once, it was an interview by a geeky thing that was not at all derisive. So that was really nice for them to be so supportive. And I remember, and as again, I mentioned I have a slightly faulty memory. I remember the author of the article mentioning that he might actually go watch a few of the shows. So feel free to email Apple Cider if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Did anybody else have anything to add?
They spelled bronies wrong. But
They did several.
okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
Sorry, our friend Rachel here is actually an English major, so she's going to be very finicky about your spelling. So watch out, emails. You're in for a...
Yay.
Please use apostrophes.
Oh, dear.
They're your
Please
friend.
spell check my life. I cannot spell R at all.
All right, so I guess the next news was that Tara Strong invaded Emerald City Comic Con. I don't know where that is, but I did see the pictures, and oh my god.
Isn't that Seattle?
I don't know. I didn't read the freaking article. I just said that. If you guys are curious, you can totally go into the show notes and read the article, because I haven't read it. I just saw the pictures. The pretty, pretty pictures.
Pretty pictures.
I noticed a giant Twilight Sparkle cutout that Tara, signed with Twilight Licious. And then I saw that she was surrounded by this giant group of bronies, and all I could say was, I'm so sorry, Tara. But no, I'm kidding. She obviously likes her fans, and that's really cool that all those people got to meet her.
So I expect that cardboard cutout should be on eBay anytime now, going for $10,000.
I have a feeling that
I think
whoever
it's a little
made
better
that,
than a mat.
I'm pretty sure they're probably keeping it because Tara Strong touched it.
And then sell it for $10,000.
Please, $10,000.
Got some beef with that mat, don't you?
I do. I lost the
mat.
bidding on that damn thing because of that.
Okay,
Bitter.
so the next one, the Round Stable, Amy Keating Rogers interview. Did anyone else read that?
I read the blurb
it.
about it.
I read it and I
Look at
pulled
you
a
being all
quote from
topical.
it. 'Cause I'm
Okay,
super cool.
you talk about this then.
It was actually a good interview. I think that you should go and read it. She talks a lot about how she got into writing, and I really liked one of the quotes that she said, and I pulled it out so that I could read it, and it said, Lauren created an amazing show that proved that girls' shows don't have to be dumbed down, that girls like action, that girls like complex stories and rich characters. And I thought that was a really great thing to say, considering it's the all-girl podcast today.
Yeah,
Way
I
to
do
go.
like that. I mean, I remember not watching. I think I had the Rainbow Bright movie, and I think it was the only girl-centric sort of thing that I owned as a little kid.
Oh, God, that
Star
movie.
Stealer?
I believe it was.
Oh God, that movie! Oh my God!
I went back and I rewatched it. I think just last year. I think I cried.
Oh my God, that
I was like,
unicorn!
And I was like,
Starlight.
why? What
Why-
song are you singing? Why are you doing this? I don't.
I can sing the song for you.
Why is the unicorn
You can't see my
sound?
sad face.
Why does a rainbow unicorn have to sound like a flamboyantly gay man? Not that there's anything wrong with flamboyantly gay men. It's just why does a unicorn obviously have to sound like one?
Because it was the 80s. You know?
I was just always sad that Stormy was like the way cooler horse, and I was like, why?
I know, and he was only there just the once for the movie.
Yeah.
It was a shame. Right. So obviously I watched all my brother's G.I. Joe stuff, which I can't imagine was, a lot better now. I've seen some of the DVDs that my brother had, and I was like, oh God, this is just as bad, and this is nostalgia as Rainbow Bright was. But like the Transformers movie was pretty good. We didn't get characters that were lasting and nobody died in a girl's cartoon, and nobody does, I guess, in Ponyville either. But we still have characters with depth and consistency. And they have flaws and faults, and they work through their problems, and it's really nice. I can say, even as an adult, I appreciate it.
I appreciate that there's toys based off of these in-depth ponies. Speaking of, the next news article
Yeah.
is ponies from China.
Tao Bao. Tao Bao.
I really want a Luna, a Derpy, shining armor, and I want to spend $1 million on shipping to get them to me from China.
Well, if you group ship them and everybody helps pay for shipping, it's actually not that bad. Usually that's what you do when you buy stuff from places like Taobao, is you get a group of people together and do a big shipping, and then everyone pays for shipping, and it's not too bad.
Have you actually
it's-
bought something from this website, this eBay in China?
It's a pony cooperative, you guys.
It's weird because you can't just PayPal it like normal. It's like Yahoo Japan. You have to go through a buyer and pay a fee for that on top of it. So you have to make it worth your while. You have to order a decent amount of stuff.
I hate to say it, but I think Taobao is going to put me out of business as a customizer.
Do they do customs?
What?
Do they do customs?
No, I mean, because a lot of these characters are what I consider fan popular. Trixie, Luna, Lyra, these are all the really popular background characters. And there's that one animator girl on Twitter whose name I forgot. She actually has the picture posted on her wall of all the favorite background ponies. And I was like, okay, I'm glad we're paying attention to fans, but you're putting us customizers out of business here.
Yeah, but Hasbro is kind of doing that themselves anyways.
They should take all the money. Give them the money.
Take the money and invest it in more MLP seasons, obviously.
I mean, then again, of course, we customize for the love of the fandom, not because we want to make lots of money.
Well,
only people who make Fluttershy doormats do that for the money.
There's that beef again.
Even old G1 or G3 customizers, they still are doing pretty good, and they're making ponies that don't even exist.
True. But I haven't...
Those ponies never die.
But as a customizer, I'm always watching eBay, and I usually do not see custom G1 selling it's the G4 standing Lyra, or the sitting Bonbon, or the Luna. Those are the ones that the bronies want. Those are the ones we give them.
Well, the G1
So-
fans don't make ponies for the bronies. It's just two completely
Right.
separate circles.
But
So
we're
you're not
talking
gonna
about the
see-
bronies for G4, not G1.
Well,
but then again, you like G1, so it's...
But the thing is honestly, if you are a super big Lyra fan, guess what? You're going to have the brushy Lyra, and you're going to have a custom with the sculpted mane
Right.
Lyra too. If you're a big,
You're going to have
Lyra
one
fan.
of every single kind of Lyra in existence. I mean, that does remind me when Seth posted his big shrine to Trixie on EQD.
But if you're a big fan of the character, you're going to have several. Or
That's
you're gonna,
true.
You know, there are things that Hasbro is never going to make. Like, Hasbro is... Well, I hesitate to say never. But the odds of Hasbro, say, making a Doctor Who's plushie are microscopic.
That's true.
So you'll all... You know,
I shouldn't be so negative, Mags. I apologize. I'm just saying that was my first thinking when I saw these. My next thought was, these are awesome! I don't want to spend that much money shipping them, no. That was
Well,
my
then
thing.
you can just wait because Hasbro is going to be producing these themselves and putting them out in the U.S. So we won't even have to worry about shipping for the most part.
Unless you're shipping, Lyra and Bonbon, of course.
Okay, so our next news article is Animation Analysis Talk is Cheap. And I guess this is a weekly thing, or...
I actually really like this guy. I haven't seen this one yet, but I did see his walking cycle for Smile, Smile, Smile.
Yeah.
He has a lot of insight, and I'm not artistically inclined at all. Any talents I have are minuscule and not related to graphic images at all. But I have to say, I found very educational and entertaining the videos that I have seen.
And I feel like this one's actually a little bit cooler than the walking one. Like, I really thought this last one was cool, and he put a download link so that you could download it.
Yeah, you could
Because it was
download it and see
too
all
long.
the layers. Yeah. Yeah, so that's really cool. As always, you can check out every single one of these articles in our show notes at BronyShow.com. That way you can see everything that we're talking about or didn't really talk about because we didn't read the article.
I was out getting whiskey, you guys. I'm sorry.
Too much whiskey.
Well, we did read the sparkle notes on it, so that's okay.
Spark notes. Okay.
Sparkle notes.
Written
All
by
right.
Twilight Sparkle herself.
So now we go to the part where we talk about fanfic suggestions, which I guess you guys are going to be mostly disappointed because for the most
I'm
part,
sorry, you guys.
yeah, I don't read fanfic. I am so sorry.
I don't read it either, Starry, so don't worry about it.
It's okay. But I think, Rach, you actually put one in?
I did put one in because Paradise finally updated another chapter. Hooray!
Most excellent. But yeah, I keep promising myself one of these days I will, but I don't sleep enough already.
I was reading a lot when I was exercising. Like, that was my go-to exercise thing. Because it was like, oh, okay, I'll just read this fanfic. And then it would be an hour later. It'd be like, oh, I've been exercising for a long time.
We need more audiobooks of fan fiction.
I agree. I listened to a lot of the Fallout Equestria audiobooks while I was at work.
Yeah.
Because I have one of those jobs where I'm allowed to do stuff like that. So,
Well, I guess Mags is suggesting a fanfic then.
But I can't. I don't think I can take credit for discovering Fallout Equestria because it has.
No, it's not about discovering. It's just about making a suggestion, so go for it.
I like Fallout Equestria. I guess we can add that to the notes.
It's fine. If they're hearing it, they don't care.
Okay.
But we're moving on to topic time.
Woohoo!
Since this is an all-girl podcast, I guess our topic is going to be ponies for girls. Of course, my dear boyfriend would pick such an obvious topic for us to talk about.
I think that there was a little derision in that you missed, like ponies for girls.
What
yeah,
is this
yeah.
nonsense? I never understood. What is this?
Yeah, what the f*** is that? Oh,
Sorry, Em.
Well, it's not like Once Upon a Time they produced this cartoon and toys for little girls. It's actually a boy thing.
Well, I think perhaps more relevant is that. Oh wait, never mind.
No, it's not relevant. It's for boys, apparently. And us girls are like, what are you doing here?
Nobody
Are you
cares about
really-
us girls.
I wouldn't say that. You know, every once in a while, the Pegasus sisters, a name which I loathe. A name which I loathe.
Then don't say it.
Yeah, that word
I wasn't done. I wasn't.
That word is banned from
You
this
are
podcast.
fired. You are fired.
Is it banned? Oh,
You're fired.
We were there.
But it's raining.
Banned it.
You weren't there when we talked to the Wall Street Journal lady, but Mags and I specifically told her, it was me and you and Pixel Coder, we were like, please do not use the term Pegasus.
Oh, God,
we hate it. Please
yeah.
don't. And
There
of
are
course,
so
it was right
many
in the
Lady
article,
Brony
Pegasus
fans
sister.
that do not like it.
I have to admit, I went to one meetup where these two new girls showed up. They're like really young, about 17, 18. They looked positively scared to be there. Like, we don't know what we're doing here.
The more I learn about the Brony community and the more I get involved, which granted isn't very much, the less I see of that very homogenous image that's projected. Like, you get this very, like, it's all straight white dudes. You know, you see all those memes, you see those images, the macro images about, oh, haha, I'm gay because I watched this show. And the more you learn, you're like, oh, you know, they're not all just straight white dudes watching this show.
No, they're all kinds of guys.
You know, like, we have actually
Mostly
a fairly
guys.
large lady population in the Bronco group, which is great, you know? It's a lot of fun to hang out with my fellow lady bronies. And the more I learn about it, like, I find out people, you know, I thought I was going to be the only gay lesbian, or the only gay pony in our group, and I'm not. Like, that's great. So I think...
Doesn't gay lesbian cancel?
Yeah, that was a little bit of
my favorite
redundancy, as we
My
would like
favorite
to
thing
say.
was talking about going actually horseback riding. It's like a girl thing, and the guys are like, no, I don't want to go ride a horse.
Personally, I have ridden
Surprisingly,
horses
some
before,
of
but I
them
find
were
horses scary.
totally okay with that.
Yeah.
So
Of course, the listeners have no idea what the hell we're talking about right now, so we
One
better
of the
move on.
meetups planned in our group is a horse riding group. It's planned by our own Starry Night.
Horses! Mr. Ed.
Yeah, and some of the guys, like, obviously there are a lot of pony fans that are only in it for the show and don't have that same sort of horse love that a lot of young girls grow up with, because it's one of the not to
It's
get
so
into
girly.
the feminazi stage here.
Horses.
But there are so many things that, you know, young boys enjoy that are very that have a lot of power. You know, they can be soldiers, or they can be important men, and there's not a lot of that in the playing of young girls, except horses have mobility and power, and you can go away with a horse.
Right.
You know, I remember reading this really interesting article one day, I might find it again, about why it's such a powerful fantasy for young girls. And I think that My Little Pony plays into that, you know? Like, it's a friend, it's a friend, I don't want to say it's a tool.
It's a storybook, Misty of Chincoteague Island, or however you pronounce it. I'm from Virginia. That was a big story for us to read. So it's always about...
Oh, right, because there's a small island of wild horses in Virginia.
Horses are in lots of the girl books, say quote-unquote girls, books that I read as a young girl involved a pony or a horse, but not necessarily a cartoon pony that is multicolored and pastel.
Right, I think this is obviously sort of the secondary of that. But, you know, like, there's so many classic books about young girls and horses.
Yeah.
Because
There's a
how
Saddle
often
Club.
are you allowed...
There's a Saddle Club
Black
series.
Beauty.
Black Beauty.
Oh, I
doesn't
love
really
Black
have that many
Beauty.
girls though. Like the girl is the bad guy in Black Beauty because she was the one
That's
that
true,
made
but the
him
main
do
audience is girls, because girls
I rewatched it on Netflix, and I'm a girl.
Everybody has to read Black Beauty.
See, where did we didn't have to read it.
I
Kentucky,
I think
was
it'll be
fourth
an interesting
country.
challenge to have the boys, the bronies, the boyses, read a classic literature story with a real horse in it.
Okay, I would have to do King of the Wind then. It does have a boy in it, though.
Right.
And if not, and a newer one would be Misty.
Misty, yeah.
Oh, loved Misty
I think that's the
series.
challenge. I want to know if anyone's going to write in next week saying, I read a book with a horse in it that is not fan fiction and not My Little Pony related and did not have a girl named Megan in it, so I'm not reading G1 here. I want to know. I want to know if my boys is out there, and I call them my boyses, if they will read
They
one
are
of these books.
pluralized twice.
Yes, they know who they are. I want to know if they're going to read a horse book, and I want to hear about it.
Okay. Well, you heard it. If you are a boys,
Boyses.
and you have read a classic horse literary novel, be it young adult or adult, write in, let us know, because we are honestly curious.
I think I just read the one Black. I had the kind of great illustrated classic that came in the hard book, and there was an illustration on every other page. So obviously we're getting a very watered down version
Right.
of the story.
But
after that, I made the jump into hard sci-fi.
I mean, I want to know if
everybody in
they
my
at
family
least
read.
attempted. I don't know if it's a picture book or what. I want to know if you tell me on Twitter OMG WTFLS, or my DeviantArt, I will do something special for you. Ooh. A prize.
A prize.
If you can tell me about the story you read, then I will do something special for you.
It has to be, I think, a little better than what you can find on SparkNotes.
One-page summary.
One-page summary, just like elementary
Write a
school.
book report.
No, we have to tell us what the Britwick balls are.
I don't get that reference, but okay.
It was a very important plot point in Black Beauty. Come on.
It's been so long since I read Black Beauty.
I
probably
watched
don't
the movie.
remember.
Yeah, like I said, after that I moved into the hard science fiction and fantasy stuff. So I didn't read a lot of Centaurs. I'm down.
Fine,
with,
you
though.
write me a one-page essay, I'll give you a special prize.
Oh, come on.
I
don't want
wanna
to take
get
a
it from
prize
the
away from one of our
Blazers.
valued listeners.
I want the bronies to send it to me. We'll see what happens. Let's move on.
Can we talk about bronies, the word bronies? I remember I was explaining to a friend of mine, a fellow mod on Congregate, Executioner, I doubt you're listening to this, but hello, about being a brony. And he's like, isn't that just the boys? I was like, well, not anymore. I mean, do you guys feel that bronies is just the male fans, or just the unusual fans, or just fans of friendship and magic in general? Do you feel...
I tend to recognize myself as a brony, even though I'm female. Because I think that's happening is that bronies starting to get such a internet presence that it's all encompassing. So it's just easier for me, especially when we were at dinner tonight. At the waiter, I explained, we're all bronies. Regardless, I'm not a bro and I don't do bro stuff. But
do we want to give a plug into the restaurant? Because the milkshakes were amazing.
It's called Diggers.
It's Diggers. It's
best
they have
hamburgers
one in
in all
Hayward,
of-
California, and they have the best malts, you guys. Just
They should pay us
just in
for
case.
this.
Well, they have 2 other locations, actually, but aside from
But we're not
what
going
is
to
it,
tell you which
Concord,
location
somewhere
we
else,
were
but
at.
It doesn't matter.
It's not about ponies, so let's move on.
Right.
Unless my burger was... No.
Well, apparently we're supposed to be talking about girly things, but I don't think we're girly enough. I had a Barbie horse with blonde hair, and I used to
jeez.
brush it pretty
I did
all
have
the
that.
I can
time.
admit
I
that
had the remote control Barbie horse that would walk on its
I had one of
I
those.
hate you. I wanted that so much.
I
when
had
was
one
a
of those. It was
But
such
only
a
for the
stilted
horse.
gate, though. Yeah, I didn't.
what I did is I connected it to my Barbie Jeep, and I pretended my Barbie Jeep was broken
It
down.
was a cart.
And it was a cart. That
It was
my
a
big thing.
post-apocalyptic scenario.
Because that's exactly, I had read Little House on the Prairie so many times.
Oh my God.
I became obsessed with the idea of the prairie and the post-apocalyptic world, or whatever you want to call
Really?
it. So I
That's
took
amazing.
my Barbie horses and my Brayer horses, and I tied them up to my Barbie Jeep and had them basically take Barbie everywhere.
But, okay, this is the thing that killed me. I would always put my Barbie horse next to my Breyer horses, but the Barbie horse is actually bigger than the
Exactly.
Breyer horses.
The Breyer
I
horses
can
are one of the realistic models, right?
Well, I can tell you,
yeah.
I collect Breyer horses. I've actually shown them because my parents would not buy me a pony. Love you, Mom. And
Even today, my brother asked for a
so
pony.
what happened was my mom bought me some
Hot
other
Christmas
girl's
list.
collection who was going off to college. And I have about 300 horses now at my parents' house. And I've gotten lots of
Holy
ribbons.
moly.
And they come in about 3 different generic sizes. You have your teeny tiny ones, you have your medium-sized ones, and you have your large. And I actually have the special edition Black Stallion one.
Ooh.
Who owns now? Me. So I also got Misty.
You're so special.
I know I am.
I thought Briars were a little pricey for my family, so we did the Grand Champions.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of those.
Re me
Well,
being a
well,
nerd and
also-
asking for books instead.
As I got to say, as a customizer of My Little Pony toys, there are people that actually customize Breyer horses as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And they have a special category at the shows, if you go to the shows, they judge them based on paint. They actually take apart the horses and rearrange the body parts to do new constructions, like a jumping pony or a walking gait pony.
Oh, see, painting a realistic horse reminds me of the Skyrim mod with the realistic horse,
Well,
where they
yeah.
would just repaint the horse, the first
Yeah.
Little Pony mod that came out, and those were creepy, you guys.
Well, some of them,
That's
they
what that makes me
range.
think of.
They range. Some of them are spray painted. Some of them are hand painted. I have some that are both. They basically rehair them the same way you rehair any kind of brushable, and they range in realistic to really crappy. So, and then there's costume contests. They actually make
Yeah.
outfits,
Oh, see,
decorative
those-
saddles.
Some of the people, they'll actually make outfits and sell them on
Yeah.
Etsy or eBay. They're
Yeah.
so expensive.
Yeah, it's a really die-hard group if you get into it. And this one lady tried to buy one of my horses that was signed by the mold maker, Like, it's like the certain number in the edition signed, then they break the mold. I have like number 5 of 774.
Oh, wow.
And she tried to convince me to sell it for $75 when I was 12.
What?
And then I found out it was worth like several $1,000s. I'm like, no.
See, yeah, that's why I never traded, and I got burned in one Pokemon card trade as a kid.
Yeah.
And I never traded anything after that. I don't take bets.
Yeah.
Like, there's this one memory of being utterly burned,
Well,
resides deep and
Yeah.
smoldering in my soul. It was a shiny, I think a Nidoking that I traded for something that I needed for the deck that I was building, and I know that's not pony related, but I've never...
I gotta tell you though, my mom never let me play with my Briars after I tried it. She made me put it in a shelf behind a glass door and say you can't touch them. And that's why when I first got into ponies, I refused to customize toys. Because I had the stipulation that they're worth something in 20 years. I'm not going to take them out of the package. And then it was actually a Brony in our group that kind of gave me the idea to customize.
I remember the first time that I met you, you actually had a custom sculpture, the neon Rainbow Dash, what was a neon cat.
I did. I took Rainbow Dash, turned her into Neon Rainbow Cat.
And did you use you didn't use a pony sculpture at all in that?
No, that was
armature,
completely armature. That was Fimo clay. I put up on eBay 3 times. No one bought it.
And now it resides in your giant pony cabinet.
I have a gigantic pony cabinet thanks to IKEA.
All hail IKEA.
Yes.
I love. Does it count as fan fiction if I read the IKEA pony blog?
Does Ask Pony Tumblr blogs count as fan fiction?
That's a good
If so,
question.
I'm guilty of reading
It's
them.
different.
I don't think
It's part
it
of
is.
fanon, but I don't think it's fan fiction.
It's more like comics.
Yeah.
Well, comics can count as fan fiction. I think they're a fan thing that you read. Could be a book if you printed it.
But
I'm gonna have to go back and edit my fan fiction.
comics
answer.
are not shelved in the fiction section. They are shelved in the...
But then
I guess
graphic
it's our
novel section. It is
definitive answer
separate.
from our librarian. You didn't see it, but she pushed up her glasses in a nerd push-up, you guys.
I say graphic novels are books, and if you print out all the Ask Pony tumblers, I'm sure they would look just like a graphic novel.
Right, but that...
But I
doesn't
think
change
the
fact
medium
that
is
graphic novels-
inherently different.
Right.
The traditions of the medium are inherently and obviously different. You can't do things in books that you do with comics. You have different restrictions and different not malices, things that go in for graphic novels that you can't use. Like the same way when you adapt a book to a movie, you don't have to worry about the time it takes you to read a book, but you don't have to worry about time in a movie.
Well, I tend to change that one of these days by producing something that's not like that. That's something that's special. So we'll have to see if we can actually do that. But I want to change that perspective. Graphic novels and Ask Tumblers should be considered fan fiction.
But there's different approaches that they have. You can't focus on the same things. They're very different.
I can focus on things because I have short attention spans.
My eyes just glazed
TLDR,
over.
right?
Sorry.
Starry Night just kind of staring at us going,
She's looking at her microphone and, God, I wish these kids would shut up.
gosh, guys, let's move on to something else before I fall asleep.
All right, so how do we feel about how do we feel about My Little Pony? How do we play it? It plays with or against the sort of girly show, girly stereotypes and then girly show stereotypes. I think those are 2 different issues here.
What, compared to Strawberry Shortcake?
Well, we're not talking about that.
What are some girly shows that you remember from your childhood that you watched?
Muppet Babies.
That wasn't a girly show.
No,
There were both boys and girls as central characters there.
But it had Nanny. She was a strong female lead.
Well, when I was
She wasn't a lead.
No.
Let's be honest. She was nearly an antagonist.
Sailor Moon.
oh,
Sailor Moon?
That
well,
wasn't a
no.
girl, though. That was like middle, a little bit older, high school. I'm remembering there's ponies, there was Care Bears, there was Rainbow Bright, the Wuzzles,
I didn't
I
even
love
watch
the
the
Wuzzles.
Wuzzles.
Grimm's Fairy Tales, The Fantastic Adventures of Unico, The Last Unicorn.
Then I must be different
Hold on,
from you,
hold on a
'cause I
second.
was
Let's
watching
not put the
completely
last
different
unicorn
stuff.
in the same category as Rainbow Bright, because that
wasn't
hurts
really
my heart.
that wasn't really girls' shows. That was more like a.
I admit I wanted to watch My Little Pony G1 as a kid, but we did not have the station, the Disney station
Channel.
or
Yeah, see, I
HBO.
missed out on a lot of the same childhood shows my friends
Right.
did because I lived on an American base in Japan because I'm a military
But
brat.
let me tell you what I did. I would sit in front of the TV where it was scrambled and just listen to it.
That's adorable. It's like a radio play, you guys.
That's what I did.
Cool though.
Because another show I used to watch, I think had a lot of girls in it, was like Kids Incorporated. Do you guys remember that one?
I don't think I
Like I
watched
said,
that
I didn't
one.
watch a lot of TV as a kid. We had these weird Japanese
Fail.
shows because we lived in Okinawa.
Fail on my part.
Well.
Well, for me, I don't think I watched that many girly shows.
What
except...
about Gem? Did you watch Gem?
No, I never watched
But I think
Gem.
I encountered Gem a little bit later, say in the mid-'90s, I think. I don't
Well, that's
remember
'cause I'm
watching
older
Gem
than
like a
all
lot as a
y'all,
little
that's why.
kid. And it wasn't that I liked her, this may be my own sort of tomboyish nature, but I didn't, and like, I was like, oh, it wasn't, she was a girl, and that's why I identified with her. It was, you know, she's a rocker, and I always wanted to learn to play guitar, and I wanted learning to play bass, and weirdly now,
Well, I gotta
learning to
say,
play banjo,
I feel like A Friendship is Magic kind of goes against the girly stereotype in one aspect, and I go back to the bowling episode where you see the guys from The Big Lebowski bowling. I had never seen that movie, and I think this is not a girl movie, therefore I've never seen it, but I gotta imagine there has to be some kind of male influence there that encouraged that, or people who like like that movie. So I definitely feel like it's supposed to be a girl's cartoon, but they're breaking the stereotype and leaning towards themes that everyone likes, whether you're a guy or a girl, because it's like movies like that.
Well, I mean, I imagine there are many adult female fans of Big Lebowski. Granted, all the main characters are men and all that, but I think the biggest. And I find the most endearing reason that that My Little Pony sort of breaks the girl cartoon stereotype is that they have flaws, and the flaw is not that they're petty or that they're jealous, but they're real human flaws. Like Applejack, who's my favorite pony, you know, but I'll admit she's not perfect. She has problems. You know, she works too hard, which is. You know, she doesn't know her own boundaries, and she's not willing to admit a fault because she's judgmental and she's afraid of being judged. Or that's how I feel. Obviously, I'm reading a little into it, but she is judgmental. You know, she'll make little comments about other ponies, about this or that fault.
Would you consider Indiana Jones a girl movie?
Oh, hold on a second. No, I wouldn't. I mean,
Because
like,
I
hold on
still
a second.
believe that-
Are we talking about a girl movie as in designed and marketed towards girls? Because generally, you'll find that in movies and media marketed towards girls, they're female central characters. It is only, I hesitate to use the word only. Let me change that. It is fairly recently that there are a few shows written with female central characters that are marketed and aimed towards an audience that is not single gendered. All the boys shows or shows that are sort of mixed, that are supposed to be marketed towards. Okay, look at Sesame Street. Who's your favorite character? Like the main character in Sesame Street?
Big Bird.
Big Bird.
Big Bird. Big Bird's a dude.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Big Bird is. Sesame Street is supposed to be marketed, not marketed per se, but is aimed at all kids.
Right.
Well, I mean, I agree that there are flaws and that make them.
I'm not
realistic.
marketing. I'm not saying that's a
No,
a
I'm
flaw.
pointing that out. That's good character development. But my perspective is that there's parodies within the cartoon, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, that parody things that I recognize as male excitable. Like more males know about this than I do. Being a girl, like Indiana Jones, I consider that a movie that guys would watch. There's a parody of Indiana Jones in my favorite episode. I feel like there's writers that engineer things towards guys, thus destroying the stereotype of it's a cartoon for little girls.
Well, it's just...
I think those are more throwaways towards the adults. I would probably agree that most fans of Indiana Jones are male because it's an action movie.
Right.
But I also know that it's a large fandom. There are plenty of female fans of Indiana Jones,
right.
And a lot of the best or more accessible, more entertaining, more thoughtful kids-aimed movies or media in general tend to give props to the adults in the audience. Because, I mean, like, one summer I had to babysit my nieces and nephews for a week. I stayed over at my sister's house for the week because she had a couple classes she had to take for her IT job where she was away, and her husband was in the Army, and he was gone all that week. So I stayed over, and I helped her watch the kids. That was the year that Shrek, that was the summer that Shrek came out on DVD. Now, I'm sure my brother and I did this with Ghostbusters back in the day, because my mother had taped Ghostbusters to a VHS tape, and my brother and I had literally worn it to shreds. That's not an exaggeration. Like, literally worn it to shreds. Like, to the point where my mother would no longer watch it. It was so fuzzy, we would still watch it. But, so they did that with a DVD of Shrek. By the end of the week, they could quote Shrek, and I could quote Shrek, and I was tired of it. But there were a lot of jokes that they didn't get that I did. There were a lot of throwaways and references in that movie to things that the adults would get, which would still make it entertaining for me to watch, even if the kids were on their 97th repetition.
I can understand that.
And I feel that's more towards. It's not oh, look, we're doing things for the dads, or we're doing things for guys here. It's we're doing things for adults, and we're doing things for people who are like us, who are nerds and geeks.
So maybe the topic should be changed to, is My Little Pony breaking stereotypes about children's cartoons?
I feel
versus
that it is too,
cartoons for adults.
I think that's obviously, like, if you go back and read the Amy Keating-Rogers interview, she specifically says, we do not write down for children. Children are smart, they can figure it out. Which is a very different approach from Dora the Explorer.
Oh my god, don't even get me started.
Did, what was it, last week or the week before was an anniversary of My Little, not My Little Rogers, good heavens, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
That was dumbed down for kids.
That wasn't dumbed down for kids.
For me it was.
Wasn't as, I don't think...
It wasn't dumbed down, he was just a quiet man. But he never talked to
changed his
you
shoes
like
a lot.
you were... He did change his shoes a lot, but he came in from business and came into casual. But he didn't talk to you, like, oh, kids, what is this? It's a spoon. You're like, I know what a spoon is.
He just has a very calming way of talking, at least on the show.
Right. But what I'm saying is that was one of the shows that I as a kid enjoyed because, like I said, I moved into hard science fiction and fantasy at a very young age. So those were authors who weren't writing for children. I didn't feel that they'd picked the language for children, and there were a lot of words I didn't understand, so a lot of times I read with a dictionary by side. But I feel that Mr. Rogers didn't talk to me down like I was a child. It felt like he was talking to somebody who knew.
Okay.
He was familiar, and I feel that My Little Pony is a lot like this. Friendship is Magic is a lot like this. They don't, of course they address topics that are relevant to children, because there are certain experiences you don't have as a child. And there are certain things that are very central to a child's life. And that is obviously the primary audience of the show.
Then this is what I will agree to. I will agree that the cartoon is aimed at children, but it does things to attract adults as well.
Oh, absolutely. Because
so it breaks stereotypes as a children's cartoon. And I think that by consequence of being popular, or how it's popular, breaks stereotypes of being a typical girl cartoon.
Well, I think most cartoons nowadays, I mean, at least the ones that do really well, tend to add in things to make it more interesting for adults, like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Foster's was amazing.
My co-worker's a 33-year-old man with a 4-year-old daughter, 5-year-old daughter, and he watches the cartoon with her.
Yeah,
Came up to me at work, said, "Hey, cutie mark."
Yeah, so people who make good movies and people who make good children's shows, they write it knowing that
adults are going to watch it.
Yeah, this adult has to sit through this too, so let's make it interesting.
I remember having to sit through Barney, and Barney was a show that dumbed down things a lot. Barney was not... Stop that. Barney was not a dinosaur that spoke to adults.
No,
and there were several characters in the show that were very irritating as an adult to watch.
Barney looks a lot like
I didn't find
Spike.
Bebop exciting as a character or relevant as a character, and she talked like a baby, and that got on my nerves. That was a show that I couldn't watch with my nephew.
Did you notice that the coloring of Barney looks a lot like Spike? You put them side by side.
God.
I think someone's
But I think it's a
channeling
general
Barney.
dinosaur thing.
A purple dinosaur.
Yeah, because I totally had a stuffed toy dinosaur that had those colors, but it was not Barney.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a very early 90s dinosaur coloring.
Yeah. That was a pretty popular set of colors that, because they're, if you look at, you should know this, it's on the color wheel. They're the two opposing colors. They're complementary.
Yes,
they're
they are.
complementary.
So, I mean, complementary colors are very, especially in your very basic colors, your basic, what is it, 6?
Complementary colors are best pony.
Complementary colors are this week's best pony.
And they're also one of our sponsors. We're also brought to you by the letter M.
And the number 3.
M for delicious.
Pony.
So I think the way that MLP breaks stereotypes is not necessarily in that they also appeal to an adult, in that they make throwaways and things to entertain an adult audience. Because, like as Starry Night said, it's very common in movies nowadays. Like, DreamWorks does a lot of those. And watching movies as that I watched a lot as a kid, as an adult now, I see a lot of lines that I didn't quite get as a child.
Yes. Go back and rewatch stuff. I actually get it now. Also, adults buy toys. Kids don't.
But I have to say, as an aunt of nieces and nephews that range from 17 to, Aaron is 7 now? I promise those kids have an influence in the toys that I buy.
Excellent, Smithers.
All right, so let's move on. We have an episode to talk about. This episode is called Bronyville Confidential, and it features what was once thought to be the most annoying characters, the CMCs.
Mm-hmm.
I never found them annoying. I never found them annoying.
I thought they were annoying at first. They're better now. They're better now.
I think it was unfortunate in the first season that they had 2 episodes relatively close together, and that was why a lot of people didn't like them.
But I think that they have a big following now. I mean, even Mags loves Scootaloo.
I love Scootaloo,
She
and
loves
it's
me
not
some
just because I
Scootaloo.
want her hair.
I love Sweetie Belle and Sweetie Bot.
And Sweetie Bot.
Sweetie
Scootaloo
Bot.
is best chicken. Best chicken.
Zip Phasers to hug.
She actually has her own Tumblr now, Sweetie Bot.
Oh, I love Sweetie Bot.
Yeah. So I gotta say, this episode reminds me of a movie that I once watched about a newsletter, with one controlling lady. I can't remember the name of the movie. And if you guys know it, tell me. I can't think of it.
I have no idea, but first let's give a brief synopsis.
Oh, sorry.
Basically, they to get their cutie mark, they decide to try and write for their school paper, which they find out is being run by Time and Tiara, and by accidentally stumbling upon 2 cults getting stuck together by gum, they
Snips and snails.
Yeah, Snips and Snails. They started a gossip column, and it goes downhill from there.
Oh my god, there's so many great things in this episode.
There's really, really are.
Like, there's complete Brony fangasm existing in this episode. And I'm going to say it, fangasm. And I think Seth
And
knows
Mike
what I'm
gave
talking
it.
about with the shout-out to the great and powerful Trixie, but I get ahead of myself. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. Keep
Okay,
going.
good. I have to say, I pay attention to fan fodder like this. And I have a list of everything that I thought was amazing in this episode. And I can start by saying the whole shout-out, the headline about the secrets revealed of the great and powerful Trixie. I'm expecting much noise on the internet. On the tubes.
On the other hand, I
Over
think
this.
it's a little sad because it's like, yeah, that pretty much means there's not going to be any real Trixie, and any hope you had of it is now gone. So, but at least you
She's
got a
gone.
shout out.
She's a figment of your imagination that only exists in newspapers. Written by children.
It's like, and if her act wasn't done before, it is now.
So basically in this episode that I just had the pleasure of watching right before we recorded, so it's fresh in my mind, is that the existing editor, who is called Namby-Pamby.
Yeah, I love that.
None of this namby-pamby stuff, but Namby-Pamby just graduated. She's no longer here to edit. So it's taken on by Diamond Tiara, who basically becomes a control freak and only wants the juiciest gossip of everything else. And there's things that they take pictures of that is just amazing. And I have to say, Scootaloo still can't fly, despite her trying.
Well, her wings are a little bit small compared to her body, so maybe once she hits her growth spurt, she'll have better luck.
It didn't stop the cake.
No, I also saw this on Tumblr, which is the picture of the big pony from last week.
Oh, God, yeah! I don't even
He can
understand
fly.
I don't understand how he could be flying with those teeny wings.
He's got the same size wings as Scootaloo.
I
and
mean,
he can
if you're a
fly.
pony on steroids, I think the fallback should be that you can't fly.
Oh, man. So that's one thing, is this basically opens up on the Cutie Mark Crusaders going around trying to get stories they can publish in the paper. You know, Apple Bloom goes to Granny Smith, and here's the history of the family, and we see a wonderful picture of her with a diaper on her head. Reminds me of all those photos that moms, you know, threaten to show future husbands and boyfriends of us, like, bare butt naked on the bare
With a
skin
colander
rug.
on her head, or in a bathtub.
Or in my case, diaperless, going down the beach with a cute tushy, as my mom would call it. And then like, you have like Scootaloo trying to get a picture of a bird's nest. Oh, we forgot to mention about the art projects with the paper. We have to back up here.
And our resident sap.
Well, basically, it's like one of them has the idea, let's use our paper to get our cutie marks. And it becomes, let's do art projects with paper. Let's do paper mache. Let's make hats. Let's make lots of other things that completely fail.
Help a bird build a nest with scrap newspaper.
Well, I like the hats, and they're going down the water and they sink.
And Pinkie Pie is there like, da-da-da, I hope they swim.
Thank you, play like random. Here, do this crap with paper. It'll be awesome. And it fails. And then one of the Cutie Marks Crusaders is like, ha! I didn't mean make art projects. I mean write stuff with it.
That was Apple Bloom, by the way. I have to give props to my Apple family Southerners.
There you go. So that's when it comes down to, let's go find stories to write. Let's go to random friends and family. And they're horrible stories that Diamond Tiara hates. And then she's like, find something else to write about.
I'm really glad I've never had an editor that bad.
I had a manager that bad.
I just want to know where Cheerly was this entire episode. She like comes in at the very end, and I'm like, but where? Okay.
Well, because it was an after-school project, so
But
she
still,
wasn't
they have
supposed.
teacher supervision.
It's like the.
But these are ponies, not human children.
Yes,
Not-
of course,
but-
they never get into oh, wait.
Maybe she was, hanging out with Big Mac in the teacher's lounge.
Ooh.
Well, maybe he came by for a visitation.
No, because he was sleeping at work.
That was Applejack.
Yeah, he had
He had smarty pants.
smarty pants.
Which
Well,
was
we're
a nice
getting
nod
ahead of
to a
ourselves.
previous nod to a previous episode.
Absolutely. Like, the continuity in this episode is just right on. Like, I mean, we have references to things we haven't seen in ages, like Big Mac getting a picture taken holding smarty pants. Caught with a toy. Ooh.
Girl's toy.
A girl's
That's not
toy.
a nod to bronies at all.
Yeah.
No, it's more like a teddy bear. So little boys were allowed to have teddy bears too.
Well, considering they're named after Theodore Roosevelt.
I know.
It is the most manly of toys.
And
Just
then,
like Theodore Roosevelt, the most manly president.
But
or
what's
what
it,
about-
carry a big stick, but
Walk
something?
softly, or talk
Yeah,
softly,
yeah,
but carry a big stick.
I know my history sometime.
Moving on.
Your worst librarian.
Moving on.
Sorry.
I have a question. How does one type without fingers?
They had big keys.
With 2 single keys on a keyboard.
Typewriter.
Type. I kind of want to see them do something like Strong Bad and just glue random stuff to their hooves for fingers. I love it. There's a solution to everything in this episode. How to type an article.
You know what I found kind of amazing, just as a one of my the first pieces of art, the pony art that I looked at outside the show itself, was some of the sketch Bible page, or the pitch Bible pages that Lauren Faust had posted on our DeviantArt account. One of them was Applejack leaning against a shovel, and the note that Lauren Faust had made, the author's comment was, I have no idea how she's holding that shovel.
We have no idea how these things happen. They just happen.
Well, I mean, she has a hoof. How is she holding a shovel?
I don't know.
So in this episode, you see the ponies pick up the paper with their mouths, but hold it with their hooves.
Yes.
And I think that's an interesting,
I kind of loved how the printing press, all he did was squirt ink onto it. There was, no, actual letters put in, and it automatically just spat out the newspapers. I was like, what?
Blobs of ink go in, blocks of words come out.
And
You can't explain that.
I thought he was
Obviously,
covered
there's a
in
little
ink.
unicorn
he
hidden
wasn't.
in there somewhere.
A little magic in a
Oh,
tiny
yeah,
unicorn.
he turned out to having spots,
Yeah,
right?
I thought he was covered in ink, and then at the end of the episode, he walks away from the press saying, "Hi, I'm the new photographer." Wait, you still
I've
got
been
spots.
promoted as staff photographer.
Are you an Appalachian horse? Do we have spotted?
You mean
Appaloosa.
Appaloosa?
Yes.
Appaloosa.
Thank you for correcting.
Appalachian.
like a mountain.
As a hillbilly, I find myself offended.
Well, Pip had spots, so it wouldn't be the first
You may be able to hear it, but
that's
Starry
true.
Night is spasming in laughter.
And then I love the adorable little photographer. It's like this teeny weeny little
Featherweight.
Featherweight.
What is his special talent?
It's a feather. It was a feather.
His cutie mark was a feather, but his special talent just being a weenie?
No, they
It's
didn't
being
like
a
little girls to
photographer.
make down pillows.
Obviously.
So and so the little featherweight's taking pictures, and he takes a picture of Scratch and Snips with their butts glued together by chewed bubble gum.
Scratch and sniff?
Snip
Snipping snails?
What did I say?
Scratch and snip, I believe is what you said.
Scratch and sniff. Anyway,
No, I feel like this episode had a lot of callbacks.
yes.
That's some really good animation, and it had the cutie mark crusaders with a conscience.
Yeah.
You know,
At
and
the
I
end.
really like that.
Not even.
Well,
at the
they
end,
always they
knew.
admitted that they were feeling guilty. You know,
Yeah,
even
but
in the
they
middle
kept
episode, they
at
were
it,
like,
though.
"We got to do this to get our cutie marks." You know, and
Well,
I
it's like
think
Rarity was kind of feeding it. She's like, "Oh, this is so awesome! Keep doing
it's just
it."
silly gossip, you guys.
I
Yeah.
liked from the beginning that it wasn't they just started writing a gossip column from the beginning. They attempted to do actual news at first.
We're actual small town journalism, which I appreciated. You know, I think my favorite performance in this episode was Rarity. You know, I think Tabitha St. Germain, as always, did an amazing job as Rarity. Her little, I don't want to say bipolar, but, you know, like, she's like, oh, she's not my little sister. She's the sweetest, the most kind, most evil pony.
See, I think second prop should go to Sweetie Belle for her little squeak and the "How dare you!"
Yes.
I
can't
love
even
what is
that
I'm
squeak.
supposed to do it, but it's great.
always forget, the voice actress's name.
But her voice squeaks like
Claire?
this.
Is it?
I can't-
I know I follow her on YouTube, but she doesn't
Yeah.
use her real name there, so obviously I don't remember her
And
real
then it's
name.
all confusing because their singing voices are all different. So
So strange. But that's the best. But it was a really good episode.
What was the
and Big
name
Mac
of?
talks.
It was so strange that Big Mac and Applejack were river.
I actually felt a little scared for a second because he was so mad at them. And
He
I
was very angry.
I
I
freaked
don't want to talk to you
out.
right now. Get out of
I'm
here.
too angry to talk. See, so you're not going to talk to us, Applejack? Nope. You're too angry to talk to. Yep.
I freaked the buck out over that. You know, it's like, oh my god, he's not saying shooby 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 shooby.
Right, this is his first real lines.
And it's more than 2 words. I was like,
he's not under the influence of magic. He's under the influence of rage.
so if you get him angry, he talks.
How dare you hurt your sister's feelings?
We're too angry to tell you humiliated. You and your sister and I. Yeah, now I see sort of Big Mac as less as your country bumpkin. I sort of see him a little bit Rhett Butlery now.
All right,
humiliate- did he say-
Butler.
Journey, I can't join you on.
Well, I was like, okay, you're more of a Scarlett Johansson lady.
Obviously.
I gotta admit, another thing that was kind of creepy but awesome was when they're getting their manicures or huffacures or...
Oh yeah, and Twilight was like, it would look like that thing that you put between your toes for a pedicure, but it was her hooves.
It was huge!
Yeah, for a moment I had a hard time parsing which leg went where. I was like, what, is that an animation? I was like, oh wait, no, it's
But
me
it's
not
like,
ever
it's
having...
huge. So if like I'm trying to, I actually went to a museum one time that had a skeleton of a miniature horse, like a little pony, next to a skeleton of a regular horse, and I was like, oh, so that's the scale of what a pony, My Little Pony, looks like. It's about to my hip. About to my hip.
That's about the
now
size of a
I
large
see the
dog.
size of the toe thing that I get at the manicures. I'm like, ponies are the size of my hand. And as Apple Cider pointed out, her feet look like fingers. Wiggling right there. I was like, ponies are miniature sized. I could put it in my pocket and take it home.
Collectible mini people.
Collectible mini blind bags that actually walk around and do stuff and poop.
You went to a strange place there. Oh, hold on a second, guys. I gotta clean out my pocket. My pony pooped. Shield for meds, you guys.
Apple Bloom's got a diaper for that. It's on her head.
I do Okay, my favorite part though was when Rainbow Dash found out like who was writing the paper, and she immediately took a storm cloud, put it
She
over
made
her
it
head,
rain!
and made
Bouncy,
it rain.
bouncy,
I was like, wow, don't make a Pegasus mad; they make it rain on you.
Make it rain!
She did it when they came back too.
I know.
She was like,
Continuously
Like,
jumping on
sorry,
it.
you're
"Rain on you
right.
forever."
I will never again be afraid.
I like Twilight Sparkle's big, like, force field of bubbleness.
That was
around.
nice.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It's like knocking on the wall. Hello, let me in.
So does that officially kill the whole Twilight Sparkle is actually a librarian thing? Because she could just put up a force field for
Maybe
the
it was
whole
just
town.
them specific.
Their band.
It was unclear.
I want to know why she didn't use that force field in the Paris Pride episode.
Maybe she didn't know it yet. It has been.
She
you know,
hadn't
Yeah,
learned
She's
it
been
well.
established to be a
teaching,
student.
yeah.
It's been
you
like
know?
a season and a half.
She's like sorceress level now. It's like, what's next? Teleportation? Oh wait, she might have done it
Just
already.
wait till you see her graduate. We'll all be so proud.
Yeah, and I always love it with, like, because anytime Fluttershy is feeling down, even though Angel's usually he was totally, every time she's actually upset, he stands up and he's like, "You get the hell away from here! You made Fluttershy cry!"
Which is funny because he was such trouble in 2 or 3 episodes ago when
Yeah.
Ironwool was there. God, where was righteous Angel when Angel was around?
It's like, slam the door, you made her cry.
He's too small, so his devil and his angel can't fit in his body at the same time, so they switch places now and then.
One or the other.
Wow, then he must be really tiny compared to
funny
the
that,
scale
you
that I
know,
think ponies are. But,
It's funny, like, you know, he's always angry at somebody.
Yes.
I guess maybe he needs to have therapy. Maybe there should be an Angel episode where Angel gets to talk about his problems.
Well, it'd be kind of weird if we heard him talk.
Fluttershy
I
is
know,
like,
it would,
you can
maybe.
tell me about your feelings if you want to.
Poor Fluttershy, she cried so much. There was a puddle running out the door. I like that. That was a nice touch.
Did you see the symbolism leading back to classic journalism? Their hats.
Yeah.
Tara's like, what's up with those hats?
Whenever I go to shows to review them, I have a hat like that, and I put my press pass up there.
And she actually made fun of their hats. You have the old school looking printing press that works by magic.
That had the pedal. It was a really
And the
nice
pedal.
touch.
You know, and I guess this kind of goes with the whole, like, what decade is this show in?
And they were in the basement of the school.
I like that, yeah, like there was
creepy.
the tornado shelter of the school. I was like, what is wrong with these kids?
At least we had a nice pool in the very beginning of the show showing how big Ponyville actually is.
I did. I liked that. That was a nice touch.
And then we also learned the name of the newspaper, which is the Ponyville Express.
Haven't we seen the Ponyville Express?
I don't know.
in a-
I don't remember that. I wrote it down. And then we had the free full... What is it? The free full press?
Yeah.
And kind of wondering what the whole free full thing means. Because maybe there's a history I'm missing.
It's a free paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like a political statement.
It's not a reference.
Yeah,
to
it's
anything.
a
It
free
could be.
student paper, basically.
I thought it was
Okay.
full free, which
Full
is
free.
kind of weird because it's written by foals.
I was thinking like some weird like political statement was involved with that.
Maybe somebody who's a journalism student can email us and be like, no, it's actually a
guys
reference to
suck.
this or
Or
that
or
paper.
he'll
You
just
guys.
say it's a children's show. It doesn't have to make sense.
That's true. It sounds like a good newspaper. I'd read it for the full free.
So I want to know where I can buy Fluttershy hair extensions.
Don't you already have a pink wig?
That's Pinkie Pie wig.
All right.
Oh.
I want Fluttershy hair extensions for my tail.
So,
Is this where we move on to viewer mail?
I'm trying to see if I have anything
well,
else written
was
down.
there anything else important from the show?
I
that we
have
should
the
mention?
Keenan Crusaders were drinking coffee to further enhance the whole old school journalism look.
Oh yeah, they had a lot of really a lot of classic.
Yeah,
throwbacks
she had
there.
the coffee, she had the canister. I like the fact that at one point my boyfriend pointed out that he thought he saw a Rainbow Dash figurine on Scootaloo's desk, but I didn't catch that.
Oh, I didn't catch that, but that would warm the cockles
and
of
then
my
she was
cold,
like
icy
always
heart.
asking, like, what is Rainbow Dash doing? And y'all, I didn't see where Derpy was at all.
Oh, I didn't. See
I didn't
it
even
either.
look for Derpy.
Unless she got shoved out of the way by Diamond Tiara. I didn't see her.
Why would they even give the paper to Diamond Tiara? Her cutie mark is being a pain in the cutie mark.
I feel like there's a movie reference there. I just don't know what it is, or a TV show reference.
Well, I mean, just the reference of an editor being a hard butt.
It's called Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, could have been a Spider-Man riff, but nobody take... Oh, no.
Okay.
See,
Ray,
I'll
did
figure
you
out a
have
movie
something?
reference. at
Did
some
you have
point.
something to say,
Oh,
Rachel?
I was just be like, we are gonna get so much Spider-Man stuff. It's gonna be so awesome. That's what I would talk about.
Okay.
I'm just the
Alright,
name
so-
Gabby Gums. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, very awesome.
I think my pony name should be Namby Pamby now.
I love that
claim
they
it.
have a pony named Namby Pamby.
Okay.
And he wasn't even a he. Wasn't he?
Moving
He was a
on.
representative?
Whatever.
Yeah, sorry.
Whatever.
You were mail time, right?
Yeah, it is now email time. Email time.
There's a
We
song
just
now.
got a letter. Oh, wait, it's a copywritten. I've been, yeah.
Wait.
I got a letter.
Yeah, please, we don't want to
Please
be
don't
sued.
get us sued.
So does this mean I'm reading first?
I guess you are.
Yeah, that's your, yep.
Okay, I guess I'm reading first.
Uh-huh.
All right, first email. Dear Apple Cider Chef Sandy, Starry Night, hello, and this week's awesome special guest.
That's
Hello.
me. Yay.
First of all, I would like to say that I love the show, even though I've actually only been listening to it for a few weeks. This has easily become one of my favorite podcasts to listen to, and it is definitely the most organized, even when Sandy isn't around and Cider is allowed to be the bad idea pony. I am in a state where there are no meetup groups, or at the very least none that I can find. Because of this, I have decided to attempt to start one up in the city I go to college in. I know that there are bronies here, but I have no clue what I should do in order to set up a successful meetup. What advice would you all give to a meetup rookie like myself? Sincerely, Anna finally melted. P.S. Since there seems to be the part of an email where one's feelings on Best Pony are stated, I shall do that here. Pinkie Pie is my personal favorite. But I love almost every pony at least a little bit, and I tolerate the few that I don't love.
That name is awesome. Anna finally melted.
It is.
Almost as awesome as Namby Pamby.
You had an awesome sign-on.
So we have to discuss what do you need to do to start a meetup group. All you need is an account on meetups.com. I don't really know what else you really
I
need
would
to know.
imagine some
organizer.
keywords.
I have 3 words for you. Code of conduct. It would be very helpful. But, I mean, I honestly find it hard to believe that there is a state that doesn't have a Brony meetup. I would look on meetup.com and check a question.
Well, I mean, even if you are unlucky enough that you live without one, I'm sure there are other bronies in your state who are also like, oh man, I wish there was somebody I could hang out with and make a meetup. I only started watching My Little Pony because I'm a moderator on a Flash Games website, and a couple of my users were talking a lot about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to check this out. If it's gonna be this big, I have to know something about it. And I really liked it. And so I'm lucky enough to live in the Bay Area, and so there's a huge group in North Carolina. But I can imagine if I were living back in Kentucky, I'd try to organize. I would say organize something. It
I would
does
imagine-
take a level of organization, though. Like, you need to know what you're doing, when you're doing, and if you expect people to kind of figure it out for themselves, don't, because they can't.
Right. We're lucky enough to live in a place with some really good public transportation. Like I said, I'm a hillbilly. I grew up in Kentucky. There's no such thing. I mean, maybe Louisville has some, but it must be a little hard to organize like that out there. But so put things a little further in advance. Figure out maybe if there's a place in the middle that would be friendly. A lot of local businesses are really happy to have a group of regulars if you guys are kind and tip well and don't make too big of a mess. I'm sure there'll be diners or movie theaters.
Time.
Yeah, let them know what's going on. Talk to them about what you're doing. Like, we have there's a distillery out here that we're actually going to have a meetup at, and it's been moved 3 times now. And every time, I call the people at the distillery, and they're always really, they're really cool about it. And as long as I let them know what's going on, and let our meetup group know what's going on and why we've moved it, everybody's been really super accommodating. And I find, it's especially the group like this, where the thing that unites us is that something that's wonderful and fluffy and marshmallowy and amazing, that everybody's been really cool about pretty much everything. I mean, if somebody has a bad story about pony fans, But in general, if they have a meetup group, you may have a practice meetup that doesn't go as well. But after that, you'll know the mistakes that you've made, and it's going to be a learning experience.
We had a person skip out Dine and Ditch, we think.
Dear.
So that's the only thing I would say is food meetups tend to be really popular because they're easy. You don't have to clean up for the most part. Bust your table as much as possible. But make sure people tell them bring cash and try not to do one huge ass bill because that kind of sucks for everybody.
I say save the house parties for the 5th meetup. As
right,
opposed to the first meetup. But definitely consider having change around what you do. First meetup at a restaurant. Second meetup, try bowling. Third meetup, go to the zoo.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere you are, there's going to be a bowling place, maybe a skating rink.
A lot of times our group tends to do things that are themed on the cartoon. Like after the bowling episode, let's go bowling. I'm sure now it's let's go to our newspaper factory. I don't know. We haven't done that far yet. I'd say do variation because I personally get tired of going to restaurants all the time.
Plus, it's a hit on the pocketbook. I know a lot of Brony fans aren't college graduates. I mean, there are, obviously, but I know a lot of the Brony fans aren't college graduates and are working on, your minimum wage kind of job.
Yes. And I actually do love the house parties because you have multiple rooms. So if you feel like you want to dance outside, go dance. You want to go sit in the living room and chat. I met all y'all at a house party.
That was my second meetup,
actually. That's where I met all y'all. And then if you need to go use the restroom, you're not climbing over people to get to one. And just hope that the mom is okay with it.
Right. And always, wherever you go, just be kind to whoever's being your host. And I'm sure you guys don't have to be reminded of that.
Love and kindness and toleration.
All right.
Okay, so next email.
That's me, yay.
Rate you.
All right, so we've got, hey, Apple Cider, Sandy, random girl in the background.
Not in the background anymore.
And guests. I was just wondering, what do you guys think about Dash joining the Wonderbolts? Personally, I think she's way too good for them. Sonic Rainboom proves it. In this ep, Dash saves 3 Wonderbolts and Rarity when the 3 Wonderbolts couldn't even save Rarity, 1 pony. I think Dash would end up regretting her choice and leaving the Wonderbolts if she did join, just wondering what your thoughts were. P.S. Oh yeah, I want to know, do any of you know of any good fics that featured the entire main 6 that does not have romance, or at least not much, and are pretty much action-adventure based? I'm really in need of a good fic, and can't seem to find a decent one lately. P.P.S. And all ponies are best ponies, but Rainbow Dash is best pony, with Pinkamena a very close second. Von pony.
Best.
You only like jerk ponies? Like Pinkamena cuts people, and Rainbow Dash makes it rain.
Personally, I think
she breaks into hospitals, wakes up cancer patients in the middle of the night. Don't get me wrong, I like Rainbow Dash.
That wasn't a cancer pony.
He had no hair.
But Jason Thiessen said, where the hell did this cancer thing come from?
Okay, I guess if Jason Thiessen says it was a cancer pony,
then it's canon.
Rather, Rainbow Dash is an inconsiderate pony.
Not important part of email.
All right,
but
sorry.
My point is that it's inconsistent. Rainbow Dash pulled off one thing, and I think the Wonderbolts, you need to be consistent all the time, which is something Rainbow Dash kind of has a problem with, is consistency.
I think Rainbow Dash would, assuming the Wonderbolts are based on the Blue Angels, which is a naval group, or rather, as a military group. I think, maybe being in a I don't want to say tightly regimented, but perhaps a very organized group would give Rainbow Dash some organization that she needs.
Right.
She watches the weather around Bronyville, but it's a small town. Barring her ne'er-do-well adventures, it does seem like she doesn't have a lot to do, and that she fills her time, making mischief, which is, obviously everybody should have time on their own to have fun. But it seems to me like that she could use, or that it could be good for her to have some structure in her life, and to spend a little bit of time with the Wonderbolts and having regular practices so that she can see where she stands and how she can improve, and having people or ponies around that are good and that could teach her would be good for everybody. The Wonderbolts would obviously be improved, but one of the best flyers in Equestria, and she'd become a regular performer of greatness as opposed to somebody who can occasionally break a sonic rainboom.
Right.
Do you think it's possible that they won't let her join because they're jealous of her mad skillers?
No.
You know, the one we've only seen the Wonderbolts a couple times, but they all seem pretty chill.
Yeah, and they all seem kind of lazy.
What?
They didn't even bother helping with the tornado? What was up with that?
I think she was there to watch and probably make sure the tornado did not go.
Well, yeah,
crazy.
because remember they were assigned.
She was there in
each...
official capacity. Do you imagine the Guinness World Record breaker, the people assigned to watch the event go to help?
Well, it's not just about breaking a record. I think I forget what they said. It was every year or every month.
try to do this.
They had a different city do it. So that's why Wonderbolts aren't going to be involved, because Wonderbolts encompass all of Equestria. This is going to be, this is something that these local ponies here will do. And if they break the record, then more good for them.
I mean, I think if it were to be in a dangerous situation, she would have stepped in. But it was not what she was there to do, so.
Right, and I mean, I'm sure that if they'd been that close and not made it, and they made a second or third attempt, she would have joined in, because obviously it was important to the rest of everybody that the rain happened. So using that reservoir water would have been important. I'm sure she would have stepped in. But we only got to see, the second attempt that they did it?
Right.
So, third time's the charm. I'm sure that somebody would have stepped in, or they would have called somebody else, because that rainwater, that rain cycle is important to everybody across all of Equestria.
I hate to say it, I'm the kind of person that really does not want to see Rainbow Dash join the Wonderbolts, just like I don't want to see the Cutie Mark Crusaders get their cutie marks. I love this whole suspenseful...
What else would Rainbow Dash have to press for? Being the captain?
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's like, I love this dynamic in the cartoon that they're never going to achieve this goal, because if they achieve it, then the show is over. That's my fear.
I like the way I would hope that they get prior advance to cancellation, and that way they can come up with a couple episodes where everybody achieves their dreams.
And then the
they
show's
get a good
still over.
ending.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the show's going to be over anyway, I hope they get, that Rainbow Dash finally gets there, and the Cutie Mark Crusaders finally get their cutie marks.
So you want the 6 Feet Under ending?
I've never seen 6 Feet Under.
Oh, they just wrap it up at the end. Like, we're going to cut it off now.
I really hate, when a show gets
20 years
canceled
later.
abruptly and you don't get to end any of the storylines. So, but that would be nice. Obviously, I hope that Friendship and Magic goes on for a long, long time. But, I think that joining the Wonderbolts could give Rainbow Dash, a touch of reality, a little groundedness that she
Do you think
lacks.
it's going to force her to grow up too much, though? All that responsibility?
I think just right now she's a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would do her a lot of good.
I don't know any good fanfics, so I can't help.
Yeah, I'm afraid that, fanfic is something I keep meaning to dive into, but I'm really spoiled for choice, and I can't,
I tend to not like ones with all the main 6, because they tend to not be written as well, because it's very hard to juggle that many characters, so I don't have a good one to recommend.
We'll get back to you on that one.
We'll figure something out. Or maybe somebody else will have a really good one. There are comment boards on the website. So
Maybe they should write in next week with the same question.
Bronies will have the answer to that question.
Write in next week, you'll get a better answer.
Alright, so I guess it's my turn?
It is your turn.
Dear Ketchup Cider and Chef Mustard.
Yummy.
More tabletop sessions! More tabletop sessions! More! I demand it. The fans demand it. All the fillies that want apple cider demand it. But seriously, that was a great session. I loved the first iteration, and this last one just upped the ante on hilarity and brought back fond memories of those college D&D games that lasted through the weekends. In one instance, a perfectly timed joke and event came together to form a comedy singularity, and the whole group laughed about it for the next 2 hours. Really, the game ground to a halt just so we could keep spouting one-liners and bad puns. Thanks for that, gentlemen. Bravo Zulu! As a side note, if any of you other listeners play Star Trek Online, I'd like to promote the United Equestria Space Fleet. Let me repeat that for you. The United Equestria Space Fleet. We've got some fantastic members and are always looking for more. We can be found under the guild's listing on Equestria Gaming. Keep up the exceptional work. Stormy Seas. Well, I have some good news for you, Stormy Seas. Granted, it's been a while since I've played D&D. I'm much more of a White Wolf fan myself. But I understand there is a pony RPG that's set in the Savage World campaign, and yours truly, not Apple Cider, that would be me, might be hosting it, or is hosting it, and we may be, assuming we're all funny enough, we may broadcast it for you. So maybe that's something to watch out for.
That's sweet.
Right.
That's sweet.
As far as I know, right now the people playing are Raichu, Apple Cider, and I, but we may drag in some other local bronies for funness.
You can play against me and win, because I'm going to suck at it.
That's not how that works.
That's how
generally
other games work.
cooperative games, but that can change. So I guess whoever's green. Oh,
That's
that'd be
me.
You. You're green. Green with envy.
Time to bring this down a bit. Hello, Apple Cider, recurring guest chef Sandy. Little joke. Random girl in the background. Are you mad, Starry Night? Are you mad? And other guests or guests. Unless Sandy is not there, in which case I'll say hi to M. Bullshit instead.
Yay.
I would, yes. Yay! I would like to say I love the show, but I'm writing you an email, so that's kind of a given. The reason I am writing this is because I'm currently writing a fan fiction called Rebound, or R3B0UN lowercase d. It's a Pinkie Pie vinyl scratch shipping fic, and you need to totally check it out. Achievement Get Shameless Plug unlocked. And I wanted to have your OC's cameo in it if that's okay with you. Now, on the off chance that this makes the show, here's a question.
Is this like winning the Brony lottery?
600 million bits. Right here. If you actually lived in Ponyville, which pony do you think you'd be best friends with? And don't just say Twilight and Rainbow, guys. Just because you think they're your favorite doesn't mean you yay. Think about who you would want to spend time with and who would want to spend time with you. For example, my favorite pony is Pinkie Pie, but as far as friends goes, I would probably want to hang out with Twilight. She is the best study buddy ever, because I share her love of books. I would also like to suggest the fanfic The Marvelous Adventures of Pinkie Pie, Crasher Dude Awesome vs. Mooncloud Shadow Dancer by Morty. It was the third place winner on the February write-off and deserves as much exposure as it can get. Sincerely, Mr. Darkboy 2010. P.S. Seriously, read my fic.
Well,
Seriously.
since Apple Cider and Chef Sandy aren't on the show, they can't really answer that question. But I'm going to say...
What'd you
Apple
say?
Cider says Pinkie Pie.
Pinkie Pie is awesome.
Well, no,
lush.
I meant because they asked if they can...
Use
if
their
they can
characters.
a cameo
I'm
in
sure
the fic.
Starry Night would love the cameo in your fic.
They didn't ask me.
Well, we're going to
They did
pretend
say
that
random
did.
girl in the background, although there were 3 of those today.
I think they should put all of us in their fic.
I'm okay.
You're okay?
Apple Cider says he's also okay being in your
Okay.
fanfic.
Yeah, he's
Honest-
okay.
Honestly, I would want to hang out with Pinkie Pie because she is crazy. She will have a song. She'll be my personal soundtrack when I walk down the street. Plus, I will go shopping with her. She can get me a lot of stuff for free.
All very good reasons.
Yes. Also, she's just
Mad
awesome.
capitalist, you. What about you,
Communist.
Richard?
Me, it's kind of obvious. I think I'd hang out with Twilight. We talk some
You
books.
librarians.
Yeah.
Librarians.
Do some dusting, reshelving. Yay!
Making lists for
Shelved
your
everything,
list.
you guys.
We'll book tape the books so the corners stay all nice.
Are you making lists for your list of lists?
Oh my
don't
god, I
make
didn't
lists
leave
for
enough
my
time in my
list.
schedule to start next week's schedule.
But Max, tell me about how you're going to live life on the apple farm.
I would totally live life on the apple farm. I grew up in the middle of a big confluence of families. I was a military brat, so we were always moving around. But my mom always was in the welfare, the morale, recreation, and welfare volunteer agencies. So we were always helping out other families and always involved in somebody's backyard barbecue or whatever. So I grew up with a weird big family that wasn't actually related to me. So I'm sure that I would fit right in the apple farm.
Can you kick some trees?
Maybe not. I've got bad knees, but I can play I'm learning to play a banjo. Yeah, right.
I also want to hang out on the moon. With,
I don't want to hang out on the moon.
with
There's very little
moonlight.
air up there.
I thought it specifically said in Ponyville.
yes.
back
Right, in Ponyville, yeah.
Well, when she
No.
comes down to Earth.
Yeah, it said
you know.
in Ponyville.
Well, when she
No
comes
Luna
down
for
to
you.
Earth inside of Ponyville and she does her Canterlot voice like this,
Royal camp.
I'm going to be like, yeah. Caps lock. Yeah.
I think alternatively it would be between the apple farm and probably the bakery. Although Pinkie Pie is not my favorite pony. I'm sure that if somebody gave out my email here, I'd get plenty of angry mail about that.
I hate you right
She's
now.
not mine either, but like I said, if you hang out with any other pony, you still get a Pinkie Pie party. So
Yes.
Well, I mean, like we've been doing a lot of cake decorating around here. There've been a couple of birthdays that are getting we just started making fondant cakes for birthday parties for some of the bronies around here. So I think that would be a lot of fun. Pinkie Pie looks like she's really good at her job, and I'd like to hang out with her. I love to cook, so I mean, between the Apple family always cooking something apple based, and me being an Appalachian style girl, I can totally hang out with the apples. And because I love to cook, I'm pretty sure Pinkie Pie and I would get down to some, flower based mischief. We both have mischief in our hearts, yeah.
Wouldn't Big Mac be awesome to hang out with? Your conversation would be totally one-sided.
Well, being a short person, and I imagine I'd also be a short pony, I'd at least need some help getting to the top shelves. So,
I think
maybe that's a little unaltruistic, but...
I would intentionally get Big Mac angry, so he would say more than 3 things.
Nope. What about you, Starry Night? Who would you hang out with?
I'd hang out with Twilight.
BFF?
Twilight.
Because she likes books, I like books, and she's not too crazy.
You do
And
have pretty impressive bookshelves.
oh my god, I have like 3 boxes full of books. You haven't even seen anything yet.
Okay, so while y'all are being nerdy McNerds in the library, and she's on the farm being a hillbilly, I'm going to be with Derpy, hanging out in chicken coops, hiding on trains.
I thought you already said Pinkie Pie.
I'm hanging out with everybody.
I'm
Everybody's my
friend.
BFFs. I'm an equal opportunity pony lover. Except for Twilight Sparkle. She's too nerdy.
Oh, I guess you have another email to read, Eliza.
Oh, I am next. I am next again.
Look at you, twice. You're so popular.
I am. Hey, guys. AC, Sandy, random girl in the background.
Is that a meme that I'm missing out on?
It was in one of the episodes. They called a random girl in the background.
Yes.
And she got really mad.
And
Everybody
guess
laughed.
this is. I was just curious. Yeah. Who are your least favorite ponies? Don't worry, AC. I won't make cupcakes out of you if you say Rainbow Dash, though I may be tempted. Personally, mine is Twilight Sparkle. No, I'm not just saying that because I want to make AC mad. Also, I have something a little strange to tell you. My parents hate My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. They think it is a negative show. I do not understand this as I see the show as having good morals. I seriously don't get this. Am I, like, missing something?
You should reread that in your Best Valley Girl voice.
Am I, like, missing something? Like, totally missing something? I think. What could be negative about ponies? What do you guys think about this oatmealness? As AC would say. Well, as he would say. Anyway, love you guys. I love you too. I never listen to any other podcast. Least favorite pony.
Rainbow Dash.
Oh, you let him out of the closet.
I thought you'd tied him up better. I thought you said you were
give me
good
a
at
second,
knots.
guys. I'm gonna go catch him, and then I'll put him right back in.
Go tie him
Hold
up.
on.
Get him, he's getting away. Rope him.
I got him! I
Yes,
got him!
shove him in the closet now.
Scream like a pig.
Squeal like a pig.
So who's your least favorite pony, Eliza? Go on, say it. Say it. I see the look of shame in your eyes. Go. Tell us your secrets.
Nerdy McNerd.
Twilight?
I don't want to hang out with Twilight.
Twilight's the main character.
I don't care. I don't want to hang out with her. I don't want to make lists upon lists of lists. I
You don't
want
have
dust
to.
books.
She'll make
You
the
don't want
lists
to
for
time
you.
travel?
I can time travel myself in my head.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I want the crazy ponies. I like craziness. It's
Twilight's not crazy. She traveled back in time to tell herself
she's
not to
suffering
worry.
from bipolarness. No, not that kind of crazy.
She
I
set
wouldn't
herself
hang
on
out with
fire.
her.
She was so angry. These ponies drive her to madness multiple times.
Okay, you know who else I would?
Twilight's secretly a Pokemon fan, so she can't be that
Rapidash.
bad.
I honestly wouldn't want to hang out with her, or
You hang with me, and I'm a nerd.
well, you're
I'm a
not
hillbilly
making
nerd.
lists upon lists upon lists.
She's a little anal retentive, I'll give you that.
I also would not want to hang out with. I can't say because I'm going to get hate mail, so I'm going to move on. Stop pointing at me.
What you don't get to see here, our beloved audience, is Apple Cider's making the most angry face.
He's pointing at me like the evil monkey in Family
He's
Guy.
swallowing his lips.
Yeah,
He's so
I'm
angry.
sorry. There's a window in the closet. I can't help that.
I'm going to cut his
I'm
arm
not
off.
sure why you have glass closets, but I don't want to really ask about it. Anyway, the
Okay,
best closets
I
are
will
those with
admit-
glass doors. Am I right?
I don't want to hang out with the great and powerful Trixie.
She seems like a
wouldn't
yay.
either.
So
I wouldn't want
I
to.
wouldn't hang out with her either.
But I don't think
Maybe
she
if
does
you
she
had a lot of
count?
duct
This
tape.
is- Well, I mean, we're used to that, I guess, with apple cider.
I'm sorry, maybe because I'm not a male brony, but I have no interest in her.
Yeah, I'm looking at you. You
I
can't hear
think-
me because you're in a
I
closet.
think I hear
but-
apple cider rejoicing. Yay!
What about
Pinkie
you,
Pie,
Richard?
best pony. Best. Best.
Least favorite.
Best favorite.
Least best favorite.
She's got felt for a head.
Your mother. Anyway, what about you?
Why do I have to go next? Okay.
Because it
you're
goes to a
awesome.
circle.
So if anybody has made it this far in the podcast, they're now going to stop because my least favorite character is Pinkie Pie because she's overmarketed. She is on everything, and Twilight is supposed to be the main character.
But that's not her fault.
I'm going to be on the Orajel, and the toothbrushes, and the glue sticks, and the everything.
Pink is a
'cause I'm
very
pink.
popular color among marketing
girls.
little girls
Yeah.
and little girls' parents.
But so we have a show that breaks the stereotypes, and oh yeah, we're going to market it pink.
Well, you still have to
girls
sell
only
things.
buy pink.
You still have to sell things.
Little boys buy pink.
Maybe Pinkie Pie should be the breast cancer pony.
That is awesome.
Look at my save the top. I mean,
So
That's a blind bag recolor right
the
there.
rules.
You should do that.
The rules are
I should, I
pink
probably will.
and purple for girls. Pink and purple for girls. Guess what? Twilight is also purple. Why can Twilight not be the main?
but I mean,
pony
look at
on
the other
everything?
things that are selling right now, as far as little girls' toys go. If you look at the Disney princesses, they're all on pink things. They have pink stools, pink toothbrushes, pink backpacks.
Pink potties.
Do you really want to compete with Disney though? Like the other
You're
thing
not
that's-
competing with
The
Disney.
other thing that's really, really popular right now is Monster High, which is not uber pink.
No,
I'll
it's
admit
actually a
that I'm a
lot
little
of.
out of touch with the young people right now because
You're
my
so old.
my closest young people still live in Kentucky, and I moved all the way out here to California. So
We should take a poll among the bronies.
how
The
many of
ones
you
in our
have
group.
younger sisters specifically, or people who are interested in other young media aimed at young girls besides My Little Pony? Most of it's still pink, right? I mean, like
Hello Kitty's pink.
Hello Kitty's
I
pink.
mean, they have like other smaller, not as well, not
but
as
I mean, like even
marketed
the
characters.
biggest girls' toy out there, Barbie has her own shade of pink.
Also, I want to go to the point about, My Little Pony being negative.
Oh, right. I'm
The
sorry. we did miss
parents
that.
don't understand why their teenaged or young adult son is watching this cartoon.
Well, if your parents know that you're watching My Little Pony, you're probably bothering them with it.
Oh my God, Mom,
Honestly,
watch
like-
with me, Mom, watch.
My parents oh, you're watching some anime stuff, but they didn't know specific titles of what I was watching because they didn't care.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that his parents are negligent. I don't want to. I assume it's his. I'll have to go back and read the name. But my parents were also really invested in what I watched. My mom is a big Thundercats fan. Right?
Thundercats.
Oh, right, yeah. So my sister, who is 15 years older than I am, and was tasked with watching my devil brother and I. Don't get me wrong, we got into a lot of mischief. She's also a huge Thundercats fan. So I won't say that necessarily you're bothering them with it, but
I'd say more than.
I understand that sometimes there shows my nieces and nephews watch that I just cannot get behind. My niece Destiny was a big Dora the Explorer fan, but she never came up to me like, "Oh, let's play Dora the Explorer." But I was very aware of what she was watching, so it could be just that they take a very active sort of approach to what their kids are watching.
But how old was she? Like,
She just turned. She'll be turning 15 this November.
okay.
But this was several years ago.
I
So
wonder.
before the Dora the Explorer makeover, even.
I wonder if the parents are the ones who don't like it, or the parents that don't quite understand the social and internet dynamic that is behind the cartoon. Like, I wonder if I look up in a dictionary My Little Pony Friendship Magic in 20 years, it's going to be, this was a big phenomenon. Because you find it in places you don't expect to find it. Like, internal Google memes. They use ponies. You know,
Amazing.
Facebook uses ponies. They have a picture of Rainbow
Google, our
Dash.
future and wonderful overlord.
Thank you. At Facebook headquarters, they have a big picture of Rainbow Dash on the wall. It's everywhere you want to be and will be, and some parents just don't quite understand that.
I wonder if that has anything to do with Facebook's morals that they have Rainbow Dash. But
Enough about Facebook.
I would obviously have to talk to your parents about why they don't like it. But I know that a
Let's
lot
have
of
a
what
sit
I
down with
like
the parents.
now is my parents don't like, and that's always the way of things. Any sort of counterculture, and ponies. Let's be honest with each other. We're a counterculture. Look at what a lot of our peers like. Big, and don't get me wrong, because I also like big bloody video games. But a lot of what our peers advocate isn't tolerance, isn't being somebody's friend, isn't baking cakes for your buddies, or throwing house parties and learning to play music. It's, and I don't mean to stereotype the youth. It's a lot less about that and a lot more about what things that are already popular. I mean, like, I'm sure a lot of, there's a lot of Brony crossover with a lot of popular media, and that's cool. But, the show and what we love about it is that it's good, it's quality, it's got depth. And as we swing more of the other popular media becoming less deep, less important, and more shallow, more popcorn movies. We see a friend of mine who's a big movie fanatic, like whose dad was a movie reviewer and who loves movies as an art form, is talking about how Hollywood is dying. You look at a lot of the big movies that came out last summer, and how many of them were movies that you feel that people are going to love in 60 years? Are going to say that was a classic. When they made that in 2011, that was a landmark in movies.
Twilight.
I went to the movies.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I went to the movies twice, and I was disappointed both times. So.
Well, I just hope that My Little Pony has staying power for the next 25 plus million years.
Yeah, I just think that a lot of people don't understand it.
But they will. We will force them to.
Even if we don't force them to, one day we'll be the grown-ups. And our kids will make us disappointed.
Okay, well, moving on. We now have our 5-star iTunes Bronies.
Woo!
The podcast now has 544 ratings.
My
Way to
God,
go,
that's
guys.
a lot.
Yeah,
You're
and,
so dedicated.
and we'd like to give thanks to Fluttershy Forever,
Woo!
Sonic Raptor 42,
You're awesome.
Superman Guy,
Nice.
and Nathan.
Nathan, you rock.
Nathan, we may have trouble pronouncing your name, but we still like you.
We like even more.
Okay.
You're so cool with your alternative
now,
spelling.
And now it is that time.
Which
where
time?
at the end of the episode we do one last thing, and that is one cool thing.
It's not cry. I was going to cry.
Please don't cry.
I'm not going to cry.
It'll make it really awkward for all of us.
We'll cry. We'll cry
put you
after
in-
we're
we'll
done
put you-
recording. Okay.
We'll put you in the closet with apple cider.
That's
you
very
cry-
wrong.
We
That's
don't wanna-
wrong.
okay, I can
That's
understand
wrong.
torturing. I can understand torturing apple
Put Pinkie
cider,
Pie in the closet with
but
him.
not
There you go.
Eliza. We want Eliza sane. Anyways, I'll start off. My one cool thing is the Ask Discord Hooves
This sounds awesome.
Tumblr. It is, and what is so awesome about it is that it is a Dr. Hooves pony who has been discorded. And
How did you not share this with me before?
She was saving it for
because it's a recent find, and it's not a not safe for work Tumblr, but it does have like kind of raunchy moments. And what's so neat about this is this person, while they're answering, questions people are asking, he is following or she is following a an actual storyline the whole way. So you really need to go back.
Continuity.
Yeah, and read it from the beginning to get, because sometimes people ask questions about previous Tumblr comics and they'll answer them, so you need to read it from the beginning. And it's just really interesting. It gives you like a completely angsty, messed up Doctor Who's pony.
And let's be honest, that was maybe one of the most compelling things about the most recent Doctor Who.
Yeah, I agree. And what's so neat about
this...
David
Tennant a hug.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're totally playing this off as this is his 12th transformation. So, yeah, I mean, check it out. It does have some raunchy moments, but nothing ever is explicitly shown. But if you don't even want like wink wink, nudge nudge stuff, you probably won't be interested. But if you're okay with just then please check it out. It's really well done, and but I will warn you that this person's other Tumblrs are not safe for work. So do not look at the master one if you are not okay with seeing if you're not okay with seeing Pony. Yay. Okay, I'm just letting you know.
Oh God!
Yay! Pony, yay!
Poor M. So busy this
love
episode.
You, M.
Thank you, M.
Love you.
I'm sorry. Okay,
No, she's not.
Rachel.
It's you.
I've got Absol's porcelain pony tutorials, and the all three words actually link to different things. So the first one actually shows what a completed porcelain pony looks like, and it is a G1 pony, but I thought that people might be interested in the tutorial part, and the pony connects to one part of the tutorial, and the tutorial links to the second part of the tutorial, which shows basically how to take a pony mold and make a cast of it in like 4 parts.
Holy crap, so it's not Fimo, it's actual porcelain, high-quality clay.
Yeah, she uses actual
You
porcelain.
showed me the link to this episode, and it's amazing. She's beautiful, ain't she?
She it's super cool, and she actually goes pretty much step by step, and it's a very complex process. But I thought it'd be really interesting because Brony do some really cool things, and I mean, I'm thinking you could take a blind bag and make clear, sparkly resin blind bag things if you wanted to.
We're gonna have to go on Sotheby's now to sell this stuff.
Well, I don't want to be like, I do to sell things, and I don't want to make Hasbro mad at me, but it's for doing fan things or just cool and interesting things is, I think, pretty cool. So
I would love to have a
cool
porcelain pony. That'd be awesome. Mags.
Okay, so Eliza told me, or not Eliza, but Rachel told me about this a while back.
Darn, I thought it was me.
I know, unfortunately, I'm so sorry.
Sure
told
you
me
are.
about the 3.5 2006, the D&D 3.5 pony role-playing game.
It's only G3.
It's only G3 because it was 2006. But it's also an April Fool's joke. But I think if you find the link, they can see the show notes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They can see the show notes, so you can go to the one cool thing. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the link that I gave for my one cool thing, you'll see possibly the best beholder. It's a My Little Pony beholder. So it's a nice little April Fool's joke, and I find it particularly funny because now there's so many My Little Pony mods for all of your D&D or Savage World or what have you needs. If somebody comes up with a White Wolf one, you gotta let me know, okay? You send it to Apple Cider, and he'll let me know because that's my preferred running system. So I haven't seen one yet, but I haven't looked too terribly hard. But anyway, so my one cool thing is the Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 My Little Pony becomes a role-playing game. April Fool's joke.
Okay, that's cool.
With best beholder.
All right, Eliza, what is your one cool thing?
I would like to submit for your consideration a Tumblr, if I will, called Microsoft Pony Paint.
That sounds familiar. What is that?
I've never heard of that before.
It's better than bad. It's good.
Like how good?
Like terribly bad. So bad that it's good. Basically, it's a Tumblr, not an ass Tumblr, but a Tumblr.
This is like the Trolls 2 of pony art?
This is a Tumblr with the worst of the worst art, mostly drawn by me.
There's one by me up there.
And one by her, of pony art ever on the interwebs. And it's so bad that it's good. And I let people submit, people give suggestions, and we are the home of really iconic images like rocket ponies, snake ponies, popsicles ponies. If it's a head on a stick, I want it. If it's a head swap, I want it. If it's a pony melting, I want it. If it's a pony with no outlines and it's really bad, I want it. I want you to send me intentionally bad art. Because that's all what it is. Because we know we're good artists. I just want the worst.
And yeah, you guys should check it out because it's really hilarious. Some of the
pretty
stuff that's on
lousy.
there.
Now, just a word of caution, if you happen to get dyslexic and put MS Paint Pony, that's porn.
So don't go there.
Or go there.
Or go there.
And then come
All
check
up
out
to
ours
you.
afterwards.
Yeah, check out both.
Don't get them mixed up.
Yes. But it's pretty popular among our Northern California bronies. I think it's gaining some popularity. It's up to almost 70 viewers. And we're on...
Ooh,
we're,
70. It's almost a round number.
yes. And we're approaching
Most
400
of us
posts.
Woo!
So if you have crap, send it to me.
All of the crap, I take it.
I take all of the craps. As long as it's pony related. And that's My Little Pony, not literary ponies. So that's my submission for and very cool thing.
All right, so that's technically a wrap.
Woo!
That is the end of our show. And if you are listening to the end of this, oh my God, I can't believe you made it all the way through this all-girl
You have
podcast.
such endurance. You're amazing.
I do say,
And if
though,
you're asleep right now,
I
wake
bet we got
up.
about 2 minutes in before somebody was making a The View comment.
Seriously, if
I didn't
you're
even
asleep,
think about that. Wait, which one of us is Whoopi?
Right,
girl,
but
I can shave my eyebrows right now.
anyways, if you
Wait,
can
let's
find us...
make some bad movies, you guys.
Oh my God, you're ruining my outro!
I'm sorry.
She's
I'm sorry.
never
Start
gonna
over and I'll
host
just
again.
be quiet.
This is the last time I'm hosting.
No, it's not.
Yes,
It's
it
the
is.
first-
It's totally the last time. Anyways, you can find us on the web at bronyshow.com. You can send emails to bronyville@gmail.com. Go ahead and leave us a review on iTunes. If you mention this episode specifically and you love it enough, I will do another show if I get enough people saying how much
Oh my God.
they love this
Oh my God.
episode
What's
in
the
iTunes
threshold?
review.
Like 12?
Oh my God.
Like 5 people.
Five people. We can do that easily,
Because
boyses.
usually that's in like a week that they get that
Yes.
many reviews. So if it's 5 and you all say you love me and my goils,
Goyles,
goils, I will do another podcast.
I beg you, please do it.
And watch the show get no ratings for the next 2 weeks.
Shut up. We're going to get all the ratings in the world.
Apple cider.
Ruin the show, guys.
I will bribe you as well. if
The
you
show
do
goes
it.
down to 4 stars.
Okay, and you can also find most of us on Twitter. You can follow Bronyville on Twitter, and that's Apple Cider.
But
and
he's in the closet right
yeah,
now.
he's in the closet, but I'm going to still give you his Twitter, just in case you haven't heard it enough times. You can follow Chef Sandy at Chef Sandy, and you can follow me, Starry Night, as McBirdie Turdy.
Best Twitter name ever.
And then, of course, you have Eliza, who is OMG WTF LOLs, which is the, second best
It totally
Twitter
is.
name.
Totally is.
What's the
second
best Twitter name?
It is second best after hers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
McBirdie Turdy is the best Twitter
I
name.
do. I love it.
Okay. And you can find Raichu as
At Raichu.
Raichu.
Amazing!
Amazing! It's so easy!
And Mags, we got to get you on Twitter.
Never.
Never.
Conform.
No.
And in case you haven't heard us talk about it enough and you're in the area, please join our meetup groups, Bronies of Northern California. And I don't even... I don't even know why we're going to mention North Texas Bronies, because this is an all Cali show, but
Is that where M is?
whatevs.
So for that kid that wrote
No,
in, so the
M-
guy that wrote in about how to start a meetup, plug your meetup everywhere. That's how you start a meetup.
Right. So, like, North Texas Bronies, that's where Chef's at, so I guess we have... What the hell? Chef's gonna listen to this episode and thinks we
Chef's not
hate
gonna
it.
listen to this episode. He's gonna be like, they're ruining my show. I can't listen to this. Chef's a quality brony. Look at us.
Chef, we love you.
I know, we totally just took down the quality like a few notches, whatever.
My bad.
You'll fix it next episode. Also, conventions.
Everfree Northwest, you guys.
Yes. In fact,
West Coast beat up.
all of us are going to be going there. So Bronyville is going to be going. So,
We're gonna have tables.
Actually,
yeah.
Ooh.
I actually have a panel too, so.
You're on a panel. Ooh,
Okay, awesome.
We're in the
Okay.
presence of a celebrity.
Okay.
We're gonna have arts and customs.
Yeah, I'll have a table. Raichu's going to have a table.
I'm
Elias
gonna
going to
be
have a
borrowing their
table.
table.
We're all going to be sitting together, so you're probably not going to miss us.
Just look for the boobs.
Yes, because there are not going to be any other boobs there.
And of course, we're the only female. Oh, wait. Isn't there? There's an all-lady Brony cast. Isn't it called? Is the Pegasus Sister cast?
Stop!
Stop! I thought I had the loud mic.
Oh,
I think it's allowed if it's the name of their show.
Maybe the show.
Not allowed.
They like it.
We're gonna have the anti-Pegasus sign. So
no,
don't even
we
bother.
can't even have an anti-sign because it's freaking. It's a bad word.
It's a bad
We'll never
word,
say it again.
Mags. Bad word.
Okay, you know what? I'm ending this because I need to go drink some more. I've had enough of this crap.
And I kind of have to pee, so let's go.
Alright, so we're ending the show. Thank you for listening. You've all been great. I don't really love you guys, but there you go.
Make sure you write
We
in so
do.
we can
It's
do this
okay.
again.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, well, you do. You
We
appreciate
do. Right. Everybody but Starry Night. She's a mean lady.
Yeah, I'm a mean lady. Anyways, good night.